Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome all of you to our 22nd edition of the Virtual Leadership Seminar under the auspices of Youth Impact Movement. Let's start with prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this youth initiative. We thank You for this program, and we call for You to grant that everything shall go on successfully. We call for clarity, insight, and eloquence to our guest speaker and hosts, that they may, from this program, impact us for us to improve our personal life and capacity. We commit into Thy hands all participants that they may understand and adopt all that will be taught today. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to today's program. Today's program is much more anticipated than ever. For we don't really believe in the immediate impact. That is why we keep our records so that future generations would enjoy and learn from this that we are doing today. I want to welcome everyone here listening to this program, to our 22nd edition of the Virtual Leadership Seminar. This seminar series has been instituted to serve as a platform to hear very insightful people and teach us and guide us this or better. And today we have our guest speaker to be no other person than Prophet Ernest Peter. Prophet Ernest Peter is a youth activist and a preacher man, and he will be speaking on the topic Grooming Ethical Leaders for Nation Building. It is an important topic because you need to know how you can become better leaders. And I believe probably he will surely talk about the tension that arose at Parliament House today. And it's important for us to learn from the mistakes and the activities that the pace setters, or to say the people who are currently leading our nation, are doing, so that we will not repeat their same mistakes. I want to go ahead to tell you a little bit I know about our guest speaker for today's occasion. Our guest speaker is a young man who is full of insight, intelligent, and as tall as me. I think he's taller than me, though. There's one man that, if he doesn't know, I don't know when I started the contract, that is 20. I learned from him in terms of public speaking as well, in terms of delivery, in terms of how to carry yourself all around. Integrity is one thing he holds so dear. He has impacted a lot of generations whilst he was a tutor at Kabori Senior High School. And there he has been impacting all other people as well. And some few years ago, he had a calling into ministry to impact people and aid with spiritual growth. And he teaches about the word of God as he's a lover of God. And although he might be a man of God, politics is inevitable and he cannot be far away from it. And today we want to hear his grooming or his tutorship on this particular topic. And we are hopeful that when he takes the floor, he would actually groom us on that. As a very learned man, and I'm sure you'd also pick a hint from him. After he's done with his presentation, we'll take questions and answers. So on this note, and on behalf of Youth Impact Movement and Youth Impact Parliament, which is the first bicameral youth legislature in the world and a potential global precedent as well, I want to call the guest speaker to now make his presentation. Prophet Ernest Peter, your audience, your guest speaker. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And a wonderful good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super humbled and honored to be part of this beautiful session. Yes, like the honorable speaker said, we've been planning this for only God knows how long, but indeed this is the day the Lord has made, and we are rejoicing and glad in it. And so, also to say that we thank God that nothing chaotic happened in Parliament today, and so for that we are all in one piece. Ghana is still in one piece, and we are here to share knowledge. And so once again, thank you for joining, and I trust God that we'll have a wonderful time. Now, because I'm a spiritual person and numbers mean not me, today is the 22nd day of the month of October, and it is the 22nd sitting, if I'm right. Honorable Speaker, am I right on that? This is
the 22nd edition of the lecture.
Powerful. So on the 22nd day, we are having the 22nd edition of the lecture, and because of that, I've also prepared only 22 slides. So we're going to work with 22 slides. I trust that it's going to be interesting, and then it'll be very interactive. Now, because I'm using a PowerPoint presentation, all my two screens are now presentations, so I can't see charts, I can't see reactions. I think after I will only be able to do that after the presentation. And so if there's anything, Honorable Speaker, please draw my attention, and I would pause so we can take that. All right. Yes, so I've been introduced already, so no long talks. And so we are going straight into it. We're looking at grooming ethical leaders for nation building. That is the subject matter we're looking at. So what are our expectations? So by the end of the presentation, I'm trusting God that we understand ethical leadership. We define ethical leadership and its core principles. We'll explore the impact of ethical leadership on national development. We'll look at some of the challenges in developing ethical leaders. We'll be able to present strategies for grooming ethical leaders, and then encourage the youth. I'm also a youth, and so we'll be encouraged and as emerging leaders to embrace ethical values. All right. So by way of introduction, what are morals and what are ethics? Now, I'd have to bring morals in so that it will set the tone for the subject matter, which is, key in our theme, being ethics. So what is this whole thing about morals? So morals, it's about personal principles regarding right or wrong. And so whatever I uphold to be right or wrong, that is a moral. Then ethics on the other side, it's a system of rules or principles governing conduct and a specific context, in a specific context, be it a society, be it a group, a profession. That is what ethics is about. So it's more of a system of rules or principles. And so this is not just about one person. Once you belong to a group, it could be ethics between two people. What are the ethics we want to uphold in our marriage, in our relationship? But when it comes to the individual ones, then we're looking at morals. Now, so why are they important, morals and ethics? So we need to understand that they provide the foundation for living harmoniously in society. Now, standing on only morals, what you deem to be good might not be good for another person. What you deem to be bad might not be bad for another person. For instance, if I enjoy dog meat or crocodile meat, per your culture, per how you were raised and all that, or just by whatever reason you uphold, you can tell yourself that I don't want anything to do with crocodile meat or with snake meat or whatever, or even bats. I don't know that people eat bats, but if they do, so what might be good for you is not good for me. So that limits us to morals. But when it comes to ethics, because you are not an individual living alone in your own confinement, you belong to a society, a group, a class, or whatever, definitely there are rules and principles that would govern how you can behave. So you can say that, as for me, these are my morals, and so I can't go by anybody's ethics. Morals is personal, but ethics has to do what a group decides on as rules, principles. All right, so they provide a foundation for living harmoniously in society, so that you don't use your morals to intimidate or to cause me pain or to make me feel bad. No. So there is a guiding principle for all of us who are living in a particular community or society. Also, these two are essential for personal integrity and professional accountability. So we'll be delving deeper into these things, and then we'll look at them. Now, so let's look at let's have a dichotomy, as you put it. between morals and ethics. So on the side of morals, these are rooted in personal beliefs, often shaped by culture, religion, and upbringing. Now, when I was introduced, you heard it so clear that I'm a tutor, but I call myself a professional educationist. Now, so once I'm an educationist, you saw my expectations. After the presentation, be very sure that I'm going to put up some questions and you would equally answer them. I was trying to put up, what's the name? A Google form, so we could, some people who would not want to speak could answer via that medium, but nothing spoiled. Maybe we'll use a chat session and then we would have the answers coming. For I know some people would not want to talk, but they have great ideas and great inputs they would love to make. All right, so please, let's take note of things and then we can have a very interactive discussion. All right, so morals are rooted in personal beliefs, often shaped by culture, religion, and upbringing. So where you grow up would, really have a great influence on what you hold as moral and what you hold as not a moral thing to do. All right, so your religion, for instance, there are some, even let's narrow it down to Christianity. In the Christendom, we have people who, having read the scripture about the burning bush and Moses, decided that, okay, if this is the case, then when we are going to fellowship, we'd have to take off our footwear. And so because of their religion and then their doctrine, this is what they uphold. Now, if I would have to go and fellowship with them any day, because, footwears are not allowed in their place, I might be forced to also just go by their way. So morals could be developed or could be shaped because of culture, religion, upbringing, and all of these things. Now, on the other side, when you look at ethics, it is a formalized standard of behavior that guide conduct in specific context, be it law, medicine, business, academia, whatever. So that is about ethics. So the difference here is that morals is about a personal belief, but then ethics, it has to do with a group of people and there's a formalized standard, something everybody has sort of agreed on. Even if it's not everybody. Today, for instance, the speaker said in parliament that though they have formed a quorum, they can discuss issues, but they cannot take decision on anything because they don't have to test majority. And so whether you accepted it or not, once the majority have accepted it as a law or a standard binding all of us, then you would have to conform to it. With morals, again, they are subjective and they vary between individuals and societies. Like you said earlier, my morals cannot be the same as that of Honorable Speaker, because though we are almost of the same height or we have almost the same stature, my morals will not be his morals. Though he might have done some things from me, I might have done same from him, but then his moral could still differ from my morals. And so that is key for us to take note of. Then also on the side of ethics, it is more universal, though still influenced by societal norms. That is to say that what we could uphold as an ethical thing to do in Ghana's political terrain might not be ethical when we go to, say, the United States of America or in an Asian country or, wherever, because society or societal norms could also play a role in that. I don't know how true this is, but I understand that with the U.S. sort of politics and then fundraising, an individual is not expected to give more than a particular amount or a ceiling amount to support a political party. What is the reason behind it? It is because they don't want anybody to come after maybe the person they supported or they sponsored comes into power. And then this person now says, okay, for my investment, I ought to get ABCD position. I need to get ABCD contract. No, but it looks as though in our own divide, we are faced with people supporting with whatever amount they want. There's no ceiling to it. And so when these people finally come into power, they maybe take the lion's share and all of that. This is what might happen in the background. We can't substantiate it, but this is what we know, or this is what we hear about. And so you realize that even the game politics is different depending on the societal norms and all of that. So though it is about ethics and it's about a universal thing, societal norms can bring the variation to it. Now, this is some ethical theories and systems that we can look at. The first one is the consequentialism. Now, that is judging actions based on their outcomes. So, for instance, if I should shoot a person, or if it's about shooting, I shoot Pam, and what is the outcome of it? Did anybody die? If nobody dies, then we could say that, okay, once nobody died, it's ethical because perhaps he was trying to just protect himself. Whereas everybody knows at the scene of the event that he was not trying to protect him or herself. It was targeted at killing the person. So the consequentialism bit of it is that maybe, okay, so it is based on the outcomes of the actions. Once the outcome is positive, it doesn't matter. So it's about the ends justifying the means. So they are not concerned about the means, but the outcome. If the outcome brings a good result, then we accept this as a good ethical thing to follow. Then we can talk about the deontological ethics. Now, so you can see that the deon is highlighted and then duties is highlighted. So the deon that means duties. Okay, so the deontological ethics is emphasizing the duties and roles regardless of outcomes. So outcome is not the concern of the deontologicalists in this regard, but then the duties and the rules is what they are really focused on. All right. Now, virtue ethics. This also focuses on individual character and moral virtues. Individual character and moral virtues. Then we can talk about the relativism and absolutism. So it's talking about the fact that are ethics subjective or universal? Now, so being relative, so we can take, okay, based on A, B, C, D, we can relate it to this group of people or a subject to this group of people. But when it comes to the absolutism, it means that it should cover everybody. Everybody is concerned in this regard. So I put it that absolutism is the view that certain specific morals should be applied to every human being, regardless of their situation or culture. And then relativism is the view that no one universal moral standard can be applied to every human being in every culture. All right. So most of the things we hold as ethics, they are different from what is happening elsewhere. For instance, the issue about LGBTQ++ and whatever. So one other divide will say that, I mean, it's their human rights and we allow it. Ghana, we know that thing is still in court, waiting for Supreme Court to pass its judgment, and then we would know what the way forward is. But I believe that you have your own opinion about that. And if we would follow by what we are hearing, or we hear from Parliament and from our leaders, it's almost clear. Let me use the word almost clear that everybody or majority of people in Ghana, whether Christians, Muslims, pagans, and I mean the larger number of people believe in the fact that the bill ought to be passed. But what are we afraid of? What is holding us back? That is a question for another day. Now let's look at some real world application of ethics. Some real world application of ethics. So we would have it in the professional ethics, the importance of ethics in medicine, law, business, and other fields. When you take medicine, so there are ethical standards. So you cannot just decide to do anything anyhow. When it comes to law, I mean, just a few, I think days or weeks ago, a few people, a number of people were called to bar. And being called to bar, there are ethics you must follow. If you violate them, you can be stripped of whatever, that you were called to bar. Your years of practice and then, lesson and all that could just be thrown down the drain. You are a medical practitioner. There are things you cannot do. There are things you can do. And so professionally, we could have that. When we come to the political domain, or we talk about leadership, there are things that ought not to be done. But then you hear people say that, oh, this is political language, this is politics. Let me give this example, for instance. So we're talking about educational policy, for instance, the free SHS. So we hear that, for instance, the NDC wants them to review it, or some Ghanaians want them to review it. But then the proponents of this policy and the implementers are saying that, no, there's no need for review, but rather an upgrade. Okay, so I engaged a couple of friends, some are NDC, some are NPP, and in the conversation, it came up to light that they said, no, there is no way they can talk about a review because a review would mean that there's a problem and they are trying to work on it, and that would be a serious blow to them as a political party. So they prefer the word upgrade. but at least in my layman's understanding, if I'm going to upgrade a thing, it means that its current status has some limitations for which I would have to review it and then upgrade. But the political man says that no, the word review is negative to them, and so upgrade is the right word to use. You see the thing? So depending on where it stands and all of that, but people want to give it their own meaning. That if there's a standard meaning to things, we all follow it, and then there's actually understanding for all of us. All right. So we are trusting God that in this presentation, we'll pick up a few nuggets that will help us to be groomed as ethical leaders, to bring about change, not only for ourselves, not in our families, but also in the nation of Ghana and beyond. Because you being an individual belong to this community, belong to the entire world. So being an ethical person, an ethical leader would go a long way to be a blessing to somebody. So that's my hope and my prayer. Now, we can also look at corporate ethics and CSR, which is the corporate social responsibility. How businesses should act ethically beyond profit. Now, somebody might say, why are we talking about business as well? Once you are, let's say you become a business owner, the CEO, or a pioneer of a business, you become a leader of that particular business. You have employees under you, an employer. Now, so that is leadership. That is leadership. And it goes to a long way to affect the nation of Ghana and beyond. Now, so how do you carry out your businesses? How are you carrying out business? Is it the kind of business you are carrying out? For instance, Galamsey is a topical issue in Ghana now. Is it the kind of business that will cause harm to, the larger community, but you are benefiting and that's it? If we check Ghana, if you go to the mining towns, it's pathetic to know that most of the mining towns, the town itself looks very dilapidated, looks very, ancient. However, these are the places where, minerals that are exported for good, hard currency are extracted. And so, what is the corporate social responsibility of these businesses? So, whatever business you want to do, okay, is it only about the profit margin you are going to make? And are you not considering what impact it will have on society, whether health-wise, and all of that? So that is about a real-world application of ethics here. Environmental ethics as well. So that boils down to the kind of business you are doing. Are you emitting some gases that are causing us problems? And once you are okay, you hear somebody say that I'm also drinking pipe-borne water, and so they shouldn't talk about the Galamsey causing water bodies to become like Milo tea and all of that. And you wonder, why would you talk like that? Because if you are really concerned, something like that, yes, they are getting their money. That's what they do for a living every day. Go there. I understand that people are able to, this Galamseyers are able to get, as much as 5,000 Ghana cedis, or even I think between 3,000 and 5,000 every week. And so that's why they don't care. Some of them don't care whether our water bodies are polluted or not. And this should be a great concern to all of us. That's why we're talking about ethics in this regard. All right. Okay. Now let's look at some key principles of ethical behavior. Some key principles of ethical behavior, or you can call it some core principles. When Mr. Speaker was doing the introduction, and then he was, introducing the whole session, he talked about integrity. What is this whole thing about integrity? Adhering to moral and ethical principles, even when it's difficult. You can only be called a man of integrity or a woman of integrity, a lady of integrity, when you adhere to moral and ethical principles, even when it is difficult. It's difficult because, let's say, a very close relative is the one involved. And you still must be moral. You still must be ethical. Permit me to go into scripture and talk about Herod. Now, so this is Herod. He was all joy. He was, excited. He was celebrating and jubilating and decided that, okay, you know what? He saw the daughter dance and dance beautifully. I'm wondering what kind of dance it could be. Maybe you can comment in the chat session. Maybe, I don't know what dance it was. The kind of dance that could make a whole king promise his daughter that, you know what, for this dance you have danced, the dance is dancing. So whatever you want, I will do it. and I mean whatever, even up to giving you half my kingdom, just because of a dance. I pray that may your skills that you have, may your giftings you have open great doors for you. Because if somebody's dancing could make the father make such a promise, Charlie, it's serious. So here is the father, making that promise. And truly too, when the daughter went to tell the mother, Mommy, this is what my father said. Is that the case? Okay, there is a man in prison who has offended me by the name John the Baptist. So go and tell your father that I want the head of that man on a platter submitted to me. Hey! Now, when the king heard about this, it was a difficult thing for him. But he had to adhere. He had to, honor his words. Because the king has spoken. He said, I will give you whatever, even to half of my kingdom. Long story short, he had to do it. That's integrity. So he's a man of his words. So if we're talking about grooming ethical leaders, know that you must have integrity. You don't say that I'm a man of integrity. We must see that you are a man, you are a woman of integrity. Practice what you are saying. Don't tell me that, okay, you can do what I say, but don't follow as I do what the things I do. No, that's an error. Bible said that Jesus went about doing and teaching the people. So he was not just teaching them, but he was doing it himself first. Then he thought about what he was doing. So it's not about teaching and doing. He was doing and teaching. So if it's about integrity, we must adhere to moral and ethical principles, even if it's difficult. If it means that you're going to lose millions of dollars, once it will frown on your morals and your ethics, then you just have to swallow the bitter pill and go up to it. Let me share a typical example. So I think in my school, a couple of students had to do some payments. This is about PA levies, okay? This is an agreed levy that parents pay to support school activities and all of that. Now, so some parents have defaulted, but then they still have to pay. So one parent promised me that they'll pay via Momo. And you know what? Some parents also, they hide behind the scenes and they don't pay at all. You know what I'm talking about. You know, stop pretending as if you don't know what I'm talking about. So they hide and they don't pay and they just go scot-free. Nobody chases them and all of that. Now, so we are not able to account for those ones. We can just say that, oh, that's bad debt. But here I am, a parent sent me money. Now, it is known between the parent and I that he has sent the money. And I've made him to know that, okay, I've received it and I've effected payment. Now, he's not with me. He can't see whether I've done the payment or not. All he knows is that I'm handling the list and I'm saying that, okay, everybody has paid. All right. Now, I could go scot-free with this. But posterity is always a good judge. So some few weeks or some few months to come and it's found out that that parent says, I have paid. Or let's say that the child comes to pick up a certificate and it's proving that, oh, but you are owing ABCD amount. You've not paid it. And the father will be like, oh, what do you mean? I paid to this so and so person. You can call him and find out. You can just imagine how my face will look like. But you know, there are people who will still tell bloody lies and say, you never gave me anything. You never gave me. And they know very well that what they are rather saying is not true. But they can stand there. If you don't take care, you, the person who have done the right thing, they rather imprison you because you are telling lies against somebody. Integrity. Even when it's difficult, you want to still adhere to morals and ethical principles. Fairness. Fairness. I heard somebody's voice. Am I getting a prompt?
Yes, sir, we are following you.
Okay, all right. Because I can't see the chat, maybe Honorable Speaker, the WhatsApp can do. If you intend not to speak, you can. I'm live on WhatsApp as well. So once the message comes, I can see and then act accordingly. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. So fairness, being fair. Being fair. Some words, we need not to go into details of them. Ensuring equal treatment and justice for all. You wouldn't say because you don't come from you are not part of my political party, and so what is due you, I will not give to you. No. Talking about ethical behavior, you should be fair. Okay, so now we are campaigning, we want to retain power or we want to come back to power and all of that. So we are doing things perhaps only for our people, or we know some people that when we target them and try to do things for them, they would align with us and vote for us and all that. Okay, fine. After all of this, what is next? Now you are in government. Now you are in power. How should you carry yourself? Be fair to all, because at this point in time, you don't only belong to a political party. You belong to the nation of Ghana. You belong to a community. And so it could be even maybe an association, a small one like that. At the time of putting you into power or voting into power or whatever you do before you come into power, so we have our divides and all of that. But once we are done with election, once we are done and you are now in authority, you are now leading all the people. So your ethical values must come to play there. You don't say at this point that, okay, you didn't vote for me. I know you are on that side, so you didn't vote for me. So there is no way this opportunity that has come, I'll give it to you. Ensuring equal treatment and justice for all. If my party person has infringed on somebody's right or is culpable of the law, whatever is stipulated in the law must be applied to the person. It must be applied to the person. In that, then people can see, oh, okay, Charlie, this man is ethical. This man. So even if it's from your camp, wrong is wrong and good is good. If it comes to things, what is good for the blacks is good for the whites as well. Same blood flowing through us. That's about fairness. We can talk about responsibility and accountability as another principle. And this is very key. If you want to be addressed as an ethical person, then you need to own up for all your actions and all the consequences of the action. You must be responsible. You must be accountable. I'll be sharing with you some scenarios, and then you see how, people are really upholding ethical values in their businesses, and it's working for them. Own up to things. Okay, if you were the cause of the problem, or one action or inaction from you brought about the problem we are all in, own up for it. I'm just citing an example. Fellow Ghanaians or fellow Honians or fellow ABCD people, you know what? This one, it was an error we made, and then this is what we are experiencing. We know that our opponents, would surely come back to us on this, but we want to be as blunt as blunt to say that this was a wrong decision, but you know what? We'll get it resolved. Thank you. Now, we are human. Imagine that I offend, or I am the reason behind Honorable Speaker losing his WhatsApp account. Because let's say he gave me his phone to do something for him, and all of a sudden I clicked on a button or I tapped on something, and then his account is blocked or something. It would be appropriate for me let me use the word, it would be ethical for me to let him know that, Honorable Speaker, I took the phone, I promised to do ABCD with it, but unfortunately I pressed on a wrong button, and this is what the result is. It has made you to lose your account. But you know what? I'll look for every possible means to see how best we can resolve it. I don't know about you, but have you ever given something to a friend and the friend returned the thing? Immediately you pick the thing up, maybe a day after, because when a friend returned it, you didn't even see it. So when you had need for it, let's say after a week or something, then you realize that part of the thing is broken, or the thing is not functioning the way it used to function. You see, you don't have the guts to even call the person and say, this thing, when I gave it to you, it was working well, but now it's not working, because maybe that friend, the way the friend is, or you don't want to offend the person, or the person is elderly to you, so you don't want to go into that conversation. Long story cut short, the person who brought the thing knew very well that the thing got spoiled in his or her hands, but has pretended as if they don't know about it. Maybe in a conversation years after, the person will come back to ask again, oh, Charlie, Kofi, can I use that thing you gave me the last time? Then you go like, oh, Charlie, the thing crashed spoiled. Oh, how did you guess? Oh, no, Charlie. That thing, I need that before. I need the thing before. Oh. Okay, Charlie, we'll go see how we'll get another one. I will go look for another place. He knows pretty well that the thing is spoiled, and there's no way he can use it again. So this one is just a decoy to say that, oh, okay, I'm not aware the thing is spoiled. He knows, she knows. I said she knows, she knows it's spoiled. Let's be accountable. Let's be responsible. If I say a thing and the thing is about to cause problem come back and say that, oh, Charlie, that thing I said, no, it was a slip of the tongue. Let me correct myself. This is not what I meant. But for other people to come and speak on your behalf, or you yourself, you come back and say, that's not what I said. But it's internet and recordings now, they don't lie. We will surely play the tapes. We'll surely go back to the videos. For instance, this session is being recorded. So there are things that maybe might be played back, or the honorable speaker might pick some of the quotes or some of the things I will say and then design a flyer and try to advertise and all of that. Then I'll come back to say, I didn't say that. Before I come back to say I didn't say that, I must go and authenticate that I said it or I didn't say it because of the video. So if indeed I said the thing and I'm now claiming I didn't say it, that's not ethical. I'm not being responsible. So whatever we say, whatever we do, we should be responsible for them. We should be accountable to them. All right? Very, very key. That is a key principle of being ethical. Respect for others. So that is why I brought in morals, and then we are now zeroing in on ethics. Now, if it's just about morals, you might not respect other people. But once it's about ethics, you are not in an island alone. You are in the midst of other people. They have their rights, they have their individual morals and all of that. But once we come together as a community, then there are ethics that we all must uphold to. So respect for others, valuing others' rights, dignity, and perspectives. It's one of the key principles for ethical behavior. Respect for others. Respect for other people's opinion. Oh, come on. What you are saying is an F-worded thing. I don't want to mention the word, so I said F-word. You know what an F-word is? It's not a good word. Oh, you are saying T. I mean, what you are saying is T. You know what that T is? No, we should respect others. What they uphold as value. So if somebody says, as for me, I don't take goat meat, that's the person. That's the person. Oh, this thing doesn't work for me. This one works for me. Once it's in the confines of the ethics accepted by the society or by that community, and it doesn't infringe on the rights of anybody, we are good to go. We are good. So if you are ethical, then it means you have respect. You have great respect for other people. All right. Okay. Then empathy. This one means so much to me. Empathy. Understanding and caring for the need. If you can be a great ethical leader, then you must be empathetic. Putting yourself in the very shoes of the people you are leading. Putting yourself in the very shoes. Let me share some examples with you. So, in the line of ministry, I have gone through certain things that at the time I was going through them, I felt like, why is God allowing me going through all these things? And these things, Charlie, they are not pleasant at all. But Bible says that all things work together. We know. We are not thinking. And we know that all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. All right. Now, so the things I went through, I thought that they were, I mean, why should God allow these things? But fast forward, I encounter people in ministry and they come to share with me same or similar problem. Some of them, mine was even worse off than theirs. And after they share, I tell them that, you know what you are sharing with me, I've gone through it before. I know what you're talking about. And it's well. You go through this phase as well. And one person was like, no. Man of God, this one you don't understand. Are you sure I don't understand? He said, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. Then I took the pain to share my own experience, just one or two. The person was like, what do you mean? You went through this thing and you are still collected and calm? Charlie, me, I don't have any issue. I believe in you now that you understand what I'm going through. Now, so once you can put yourself in the shoes of people, look at the people are drinking in the name of galamsey infested water because somebody is getting money so others can die of thirst. We have some researchers talking about the fact and making projections that if we are not too careful some years to come, if this thing should continue, we'll import water to drink. Hey, that's a serious one. Is it all about your benefit and your own interest? I mean, you don't have respect for other people. You are not empathetic. No, imagine you are at the other side of the divide. You are not in power. You don't have all the resources. I mean, that will make you comfortable. If you were in their shoes, Would you be happy? So as an ethical leader, you must uphold the principle of empathy, that when the people are lamenting about something, try and understand what they are saying. Don't jump to the conclusion that this is what I've decided to do and it is final. I mean, you are not rainbow speaking. You are only leading the people. And let's not forget that the people are the ones giving you the power, or they are, giving you the right to become their leader. So if they have selected you, if they appointed you, have voted for you, why are you now lording it over them? So empathy is one thing we want to look at. Transparency, open and honest communication. Be transparent. So we went for 10,000 Ghana loan, or we had this funding from this particular organization. This project we had to do, this is the amount involved. Okay, when we went to the negotiation table, we have done A, B, C, D with it, and this is how much we've been able to put together, and then this is how much is left. And we decided to give an honorarium to A, B, C, D people. Let's be open, honest, transparent. Transparency is one thing that if you are transparent with your subject, it gets to a point that they don't want you even to account to them, because from the beginning, you've been accountable to them, you've been transparent with everything. So when you even decide, maybe towards the end, to be hiding some things, they have reposed their trust and confidence in you. So they are not enthused about whether or not you come to account to them or not. But it will be in your own interest to continue to be accountable and to uphold integrity, so that posterity will not come at you when they will say that, oh, okay, we went to the books and realized that, hey, so at the point there, Charlie, you are now mixing more sand and cement. When we're using the ratio, maybe 1:7. Now, all of a sudden, you are using 1:18. Charlie, for scrap, it will catch up on you. Once you are a leader, an ethical leader, you must be transparent. Now, let's get some common ethical dilemmas. In daily life, we have honesty versus loyalty, telling the truth versus protecting a friend. We can cite so many examples. Now, there's a friend, if you tell the truth, if you are honest about what happened, the next thing is that maybe your friend will be put in prison, or your friend will lose his or her job. So would you be loyal to your friend to help him not to go into prison, or you'll be honest? These are things that come to us daily. But we know what an ethical person will do. That when we have the principle of integrity, regardless who is involved, regardless how difficult it is, you want to uphold the virtue or the principle of integrity. He did it, and that's it. That's it. Somebody say, man of God, but what if it would take, let's say, my own child's life? Ethics. Recently in the news, we heard about the accident that happened on the East Legon stretch, and there were follow-up comments. Some of them I can't substantiate, so I don't want to talk about them. But if there are anything to hold on to, then some of the comments are very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Yes, it's true, it's an accident. But at least the law of Ghana makes it clear that if you're not 18 and above, you can't drive. But here's a 16-year-old boy driving. So okay, fine. He has been driving all this while, or maybe from 14 he's been driving. But you see, just one day. You can be 18 and above, and this accident can happen. But here is a minor driving, and this has happened. On that stretch, why are you moving at that kind of pace? Why that speed? So if the unfortunate has happened now, what is the right thing to do? What should we do? How do we calm the nerves of the grieving family? How? So this happens daily and all that. So the other thing we're looking at is individual rights versus collective good. Balancing personal freedom with the well-being of society. Okay, so once I will be free, once I will be okay, who cares about the masses? They can go to hell for all I care. After all, I can't solve all their problems. That is not, a good utterance from somebody who want to describe as an ethical leader. An ethical leader is concerned about the collective good of the people he's leading, not about the individual rights. Once it is about me, myself, and I only. No. It has to be about the collective good. But we are faced with this kind of things. So, for instance, I belong to a fellowship, and then there's this money that has come for us to share. This is known to only we, the executive. But we have people in the group as well. There are members as well. And then you say as leaders, okay, this one here, it's not as if it's a regular source of income for the group. We, the executive, are aware. The members are not aware. And so this one there, I don't think the members have to know. Or what do you think, my people? Then because they are also greedy and they are also very unethical, they are like, oh yeah, this one is for only executives. Whereas the donor said, this is for the group. But he decided that it's only for you, the executive. So individual rights. No, we should be concerned about the collective good of all. If it is 1,000 Ghana everybody will get from the executive, domain. No. Why don't everybody get, let's say, 100 Ghana cedis? They will be more allegiant to you. They will love you the more. They will support you the more. There's one political leader I admire so much. I don't want to mention name because we have different divides on the call today or in the meeting. But I don't see him campaigning. I don't want to see him really campaign because all his administration or his tenure of office as a member of parliament, he's been demonstrating that help, that collective good of his constituency. Okay, so he wouldn't get to election and then he's now trying to touch the hearts of the people. No, you might know the person I'm talking about. Last election, he won by 80 something percent. And now he's concerned about getting 94%. You see, he's for the people. Some time ago, colleague teachers in that constituency, we understand, received one laptop each. Charlie, the brand was, better than what we were given as, teachers all over Ghana. What they gave them was way better. So you wish to be part of that, So the collective good. Let me speak tree here. That kind of thing. Once it's about me, it's about my family. For instance, now that we're in the political season, I believe strongly that political parties will bring some goodies to be shared among party faithfuls and all that. But interestingly, this will remain with just some selected few. Some families have hoarded these things. You can talk about the NADMO, for instance. Some people, what is meant for flood victims or people who for whatever reason they were displaced or they have issues, things meant for them, somebody who's supposed to bring it to them is keeping it to himself. Looks at the thing, oh Charlie, but this washing machine or this dryer, if I keep this dryer, it will be good for me. But the dryer is not meant for you. This industrial sewing machine, Charlie, let me keep it for my boy. Once my boy grows, he can use it. Oh, what is that? This was meant for party faithfuls or people who have been trained in sewing. The person knows how to sew, but does not have a machine. That's why they purchase for artisans who can sew. Your child is in school. You want your child to become a medical doctor. What is the sewing machine for? Okay, fine. Even if your child wants to sew or do fashion design as well, this is not meant for your child. Give it to the person to whom the name was given. So collective good, not individual rights. Personal life, we have conflicts of interest. Choosing between self-benefit and professional duty. Once I'm comfortable, that's fine. Let me leave the professional side of it. No. So that dilemma is something that comes up. It's something that happens to us professionally. Professionally, we have these conflicts of interest. Confidentiality versus public safety. Balancing privacy with the greater good. Confidentiality versus public safety. Now, if you're an ethical leader, you might get to a point where some information must not. You are leadership. So you went for some closed door meetings. Some information, even your partner, if I talk about partner, your spouse, should not even hear about it, because once it gets to your spouse also has a favorite. So your spouse also tells a friend about it. Before you notice, the thing has escalated to the very people who must not hear about it. And that could cause national disaster, or even cause the integrity and then the peace, the sanity of the society, the community, or the group of people that you are leading. So for you get to that point, hey, this thing, if I say it now, how would people feel about it? Would it cause some chaos? Today, for instance, I don't know about you, but the kind of political tension that was in the atmosphere concerning Parliament today, should the Speaker of Parliament say something contrary to the things that went on today, only God knew what would have happened today. But thank God for God. Because in the early hours of today, we saw that sniffing dogs were brought into the picture. The early hours of the day. And I was like, what are they coming to sniff? What are they coming to sniff? Do we have people who have been trapped in some debris or some collapsed building for which they are bringing? I mean, I don't get it. So there was so much tension, thinking that, okay, the majority some few days ago, in quotes, that we knew, that's the MPP side, would have come out to, they would also come and then sit on, like we some time ago, will come and sit on people who were taking their seat and then push some people, knock some people's heads and all of that. But they decided today, we are not going to do that. We'll be in our office. We'll not even show up on the floor of parliament. The speaker came in. Yes, they formed a quorum, but then they cannot proceed with decision making. On that score, adjourned indefinitely. So, would it be in public interest? Would it bring some sanity? Would it protect us? Confidentiality versus public safety. So we have those dilemmas, whether to divulge that information or not to. Now, so with all the things we are saying, what is this whole thing about ethical leadership? Leadership based on respect for ethics and values and the rights and dignity of others. Leadership based on respect for ethics and values and the rights and dignity of others. So it transcends beyond only you and the people that matter. Others in general. So the others here is generic. What is the importance of ethical leadership in nation building? Just a summary. Sorry, I didn't pick that. So just a summary of that. Leaders set the tone for societal norms and development. A good leader, an ethical leader, will set a good tone for societal norms and development. If the leader is not ethical, it gets to that point where it looks like the leader is not fair, the leader is not accountable, the leader is not transparent, the leader is not responsible. I mean, the leader does not demonstrate any kind of integrity. At this point in time, then the tone that will be set in the society, in the country, will be one that we need to be careful about, because it might just be like it could combust anytime. The nation or the community or the society could be set ablaze anytime. And the set ablaze, I mean here, not like as in bringing fire into the picture, but chaos and all kind of things that we would not expect. We have seen this happen in some African countries where the people became so disgruntled and then they had to just take the streets. They even went to the parliament house. Can you imagine? Kenya, I understand couple of, I think, weeks ago, they went to invade the airport because I think leadership wanted to sell the airport or something. And so they went and said, no, this will not happen. So flights were grounded. People's flights were rescheduled because they reasoned with what the leadership was doing. So ethical leaders should be fair, should be transparent, should be accountable, and all of the principles we have looked at. So don't forget, leaders set the tone for societal norms and development. The Bible says that when the righteous rule, the people are happy. And the reverse is also true. So if somebody who is not righteous, somebody who does not uphold purity, righteousness, and all the ethical values, so we can say same about ethical leadership. So if the leader is not ethical enough, then the people will not be happy. But if the leader is ethical, if you are ethical, your subjects, your followers will be happy. It will set a good tone for the societal norms and the development we are all seeking for. Now, so what are some of the roles of leaders in nation building? They influence, they have influence on policies and governance. So if you're an ethical leader, the kind of leader you are would reflect on the policies and the kind of governance you bring to the picture. So if you're not ethical, then the policies you bring, will see that they are all working against anything ethics, and your governance will be questionable. So ethical leaders create a just and fair society. We see the same in today's Ghana. You have the answer to give. And if your answer is no, then what can you do to bring about that change? Now, let me go back to part of the introduction the Honorable Speaker made when he was introducing me. Oh, I just lost that thought. So it's more about the fact that if we're looking at, I've lost that thought. I'll come back to it. So ethical leaders create a just and fair society. So I'll come back to that one. Influence and policies and governance. So let's go to the second one: economic and social development. Economic and social development. So this is the role of the leaders. So if the leader is not ethical, then economic development might be hindered. Social development might be hindered as well. What must be given to the people for development might be given to just a selected few. So this is what leaders will do for nation building. And we need an ethical leader to help us build our economy and build our society. So this will bring about responsibility for leaders to start inclusive growth. We are all involved in building our motherland. The next point is about inspiring future generations. Now, so as much as we see our leaders do, then we who are growing up, we who are coming up, we can also look at that. We can also look up to the people and say, okay, well, I want to be like Kwame Nkrumah. I want to be like J.J. Rawlings. I want to be like Professor Atta Mills. I want to be like ABCD. Can we say same today of the people we have living now? That's your answer to give. So leaders who act ethically inspire citizens and future leaders. So somebody might not be thinking about politics, okay? But then because of how a particular political figure is carrying out his or her duties, his or her role, say, I want to be like this person so I can influence people as well. So the thought is back again. So you see, there are people who think that once you are in the Christendom, or if you are a Christian, or you are a man of God, then politics is far away from you, because some people define politics as a dirty game. I stand on this platform to declare that politics, in my perspective and in my humble opinion, is never a dirty game. It is some players who are dirty, because politics is about leadership. In the church, there is politics because it's about leadership. People will prefer this person to be their choir director than they'll prefer this person. People have preference. So once there is preference, then there will be that political thing that will happen. Okay, we are for this people and we are for that people. We see in scripture, some said we are for Apollos and some said we are for Paul. And he said Paul watered, Paul planted, Apollos watered. And then God brought about what? The increase. So in the midst of also, once we are done with politics and we now have a leader, we cease to talk about our different political parties or our different divides, but now the focus is on what? We, us, all of us. So being a Christian does not take you away from politics. Now let me ask, on the 7th of December, are Christians not going to cast their ballot? They will. So they are involved in the politics. The fact that you are not vying for a position or you are not contesting doesn't mean that you are not into the politics. You are part of it. The only difference for me being a Christian leader is that I am leading people who are on the various political divides. So if I come to speak about something, I cannot speak against a political, to denigrate a political party because all my members belong to a political party. But whatever is not right, I should be able to talk about it, that this thing should not be done this way. This and that should have been this way and all that. So for me, I would talk about if it's not good. If MPP, for instance, is in power, whatever they do that is good, why not? It's good. Let's talk about it. If it's bad, let's talk about it. But when it will get to the point, and don't get me wrong, though I can talk about all of them, as human as we are, you would have more liking or you have affinity for one of them more than the other. We saw that in the days of Jacob and Esau. Their father loved Esau and then more or less hated Jacob. And then the mother also took the reverse. And they made it so obvious. You as a child of your parent, you think that if you are more than one, you think that you are the only person, or you are the lover boy or the lover girl of your parent, you might be getting it wrong. Maybe your mother prefers your senior brother or your junior brother to you, but they are not showing it, I mean, visibly, that you know that, oh, they prefer my brother to me. No, they are not showing that. All right. So we need to know that though I might not be able to stand and say, okay, I belong to NDC, I belong to PPP, I belong to this party and all of that, but I also have my interest somewhere. At the end of the day, it becomes one Ghana. God bless our homeland, Ghana, not God bless our homeland, political party, because the political parties are just a means to an end. It makes democracy beautiful. So at the end of the day, when we have gone through all this up and downs and trying to say who is better, who will do it well and all of that, who will resolve this better and all of that, then who has the power now? Okay, you are on the seat of power. So let's see you resolve the things you said you could do better. Just like, I mean, before MPP came in, they said, oh, Mahama was incompetent. He was doing ABCD. Okay, so we have come. So let's see your competence. As simple as that. Let's see how you can also drive the nation. Let's see what you can do better. So being a Christian doesn't stop you or doesn't mean that you cannot participate in politics. It doesn't mean so. In fact, I encourage the people of the church to go into leadership, because when the righteous rule, I'm not talking about nominal Christians, people who just bear the name, I am a Christian. I am talking about people who hold on to the virtues, the statutes of the teachings of Jesus Christ and practice same. If they get into authority and would demonstrate same, the people will be happy. But when we allow somebody who doesn't know God, who doesn't fear God, who doesn't care about humanity to come and take the mantle and to lead us, what do you expect? And for you who is saying that, oh, as for me, this year's election, I will not even vote at all. Listen, you not voting would make somebody, I mean, win, and then that person, for all you know, should not be our leader. So you must go and exercise your franchise. Let your voice be part of it. And let's get a leader who would be ethical. I don't know when I'm speaking to somebody's conscience, but I want to trust so. What are some of the challenges in grooming ethical leaders? Now, when we talk about grooming, it means we are training. We are training or we are mentoring for a particular role. That is grooming. So we are preparing somebody ethically to take up a particular role. So but we have some challenges in doing this. Corruption and abuse of power. Corruption. We can't go into all this definition because we know what corruption is. How this hinder the development of ethical leadership. There are people, for all you know, I can substantiate that, for all you know, they might not be qualified to be called to the bar, but they have been called. People who might have qualified, they have been rejected. How then do we groom ethical leaders? So somebody is so aggrieved in his spirit that, I know very well I passed that exam. I know very well I was the best in this particular presentation. I should be given the job. I should be given the position, but he was given to someone else. Corruption and abuse of power. You know what? You are the best. Some people will tell you in the face, you are the best qualified, but when we checked, you don't belong to our party, so we can't give you the job. Sorry, try next time. If your power comes, if your political party comes to, you can try again. Can you imagine that? So this person has suffered this feat for so many, years or so many instances. So the person is telling himself that, okay, when I also get there, you will see where the power lies. Some women have been molested, they've been, assaulted, they've been handled in growing up or in the academic ladder. So when they finally become the head of institutions, Charlie, some of them are that wicked because of what they went through. So now they are abusing power. So it's a challenge. So when you tell that person that, oh, you should be ethical, say, what do you mean? I had to pay, I qualified for the position, but I had to pay. I had to pay an arm and a leg before I got this position. Though I qualified. They told me in the face, you qualify, but if you don't drop this check, you can't take the position. So that person just say, okay, fine. Once I've taken the position, I must, if I cashed out earlier, I must cash in. I allowed cash out. Now I'll cash in. So corruption and abuse of power, it's one of the challenges. Lack of education and awareness. Thank God we are being groomed. At least you cannot say, I don't know about it. At least you are hearing something about it. I might not be able to give you details of what you need to know, but after the introduction to it, you might take what I'm presenting as an introduction, pick the introduction, go and research some more, do some deeper learning. There are leadership courses that we can take. You can go into leadership courses, take them. Those ones might not pay you, but they will make you a better person. Right? So that will give you some education, some awareness. Then the way you think now will change. I want to believe that some people's thoughts are being changed now. Your thought pattern is being changed. What you upheld as, a value or something I need to, okay, this is what I also do. I hear certain friends say that, me too, if I get to that position, if I become the MP, if I become ABCD, me too, I'll still stand before I will start giving people. Can you imagine? When I hear them say that, I'm like, why are you saying this? Recently, a friend was saying that, as for Ghana, the trend is that, okay, any political party that comes, you do 8 years after you, and I also come and do 8 years. No, the narrative must change. What if after the first term, the person didn't do well? The person was not a good leader. Must we say it's a trend, so we only follow like that? No. No, we must be educated. We must be aware of the fact that allowing somebody who is not ruling us well to continue to complete the 8-year period would be grievous to us, would cause us so much pain, would take us into so much debt. So if it's 4 years the person has done and the person must go for a better person to come and continue. You wouldn't say that, he has started already, let him finish what he came to do. Hey, that can become bloody for some people. Some people can die in that 4 years. Some can lose their jobs in that 4 years. But if we agree and say, no, we are not going by the status quo, that, okay, once MBB comes, we need to give them the full 8 years. Once NEC comes, it has to be the full 8 years. No. We need to be well educated and aware that, no, things cannot go that way. So limited access to resources can impede the rise of ethical leaders. Lack of education. How well are we teaching it in our educational system? This institution, what's the name? Is it NCCA?
Yeah.
NCCA should be going about talking to people and telling people about, what they need to know, what we should do during election time. Have you watched any adverts yet? Have you seen them go about schools to tell the students what to do? Do we see them in our communities engaging the chiefs and elders and then the community? Okay, so election is coming. This is what we have to do. We don't have to do this. We need peace. Can we see them doing that? Education is not there. So these are some of the challenges in grooming ethical leaders. I didn't hear, but a friend was telling me that on one of the radio stations or TV stations or so, a political party activist was teaching people how to thumbprint. And because the person knew that they were not in their, as it were, their comfortable area. That is not their political area. And so they will not win. It's not their stronghold. So they were teaching the people that, okay, fine, if you decide not to vote for us, for instance, let's say the person they would have voted for, okay, is number 10, but they are at number 2. So the person says, okay, if you not vote for number 2, then this is what you do. And they were teaching this. This is what the person told me. So you thumbprint, put your thumb on the thumb pad, and then start thumbprinting 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get to the 9th one, stop. Don't even thumbprint the 10th one. Then it means that you have voted for the 10th person. How do you do this? This is not good politics. This is not good politics. And unfortunately, I don't know what statistics will prove that, but it looks as though the illiteracy rate in Ghana is quite high. Or let me say the awareness rate concerning serious subject matters in politics, in leadership. People are so ignorant of it. So once they bring up something small like that, we feed on that, and then the truth is lying somewhere, and it's affecting us negatively. So limited access to resources can impede the rise of ethical leaders. Short-term gains versus long-term vision. Now, are you concerned only about what we'll get today and not a long-term vision? So this is a challenge. This one I heard I saw on TV, and I heard one political person talking about that. He said that he was in one of the Galamsey mining towns, and he said they will not talk against Galamsey. They will not stop the people, Because if they do now, then it will affect their political message and all of that. It will affect them in this coming election. So they will wait after 7th of December, then they'll start talking about Galamsey as something that is not good. Where are the morals? So if you hear a person talk and you are being raised as an ethical person, if you want to follow such a person, you end up become unethical as well. So grooming becomes a challenge. Say, but even the speaker said this, but even the MP said this, but even the CEO said this, and that kind of thing. Because, for instance, we look up to people. We look up to people. So if there's somebody I hold in high esteem and the person is misbehaving, unknown to me, I thought the person is doing well, I copy blindly. I am groomed blindly. I am mentored blindly. And before I know, I get to know, I become a worse version of that person. The Bible said the time came, they saw the disciples and they said, no wonder these ones have been with Jesus. Because the way they were now acting depicted how Jesus acted when he was on the surface of the earth. But it's our prayer that through these platforms, through these meetings, Ghana would raise ethical leaders and the narrative will change to the glory of our God. Amen. So short-term gains versus long-term vision. Addressing the temptation of immediate benefits over sustainable nation building. Okay, so sometimes we are looking at my tenure of office is about ending. So let me just do and solve this one now, and then the rest I can leave it. No. Let's look for long-term visions. Long-term visions that will be beneficial and sustainable to national or nation building. What strategies can we use to groom medical leaders? Quickly, and then we'll go to some scenarios and then some case study, and then we'll be done pretty soon. All right. So education and moral training. Education and then moral training. Importance of ethical education in schools and universities. Now, if we take Ghana, maybe researchers can go into it. If you realize that our morality, our ethical values have been thrown to the dogs, then, you remember some time ago, religious and moral education was taken out of the curriculum. It was taken out. Then people spoke against that. How do we then now learn morals? How do we teach our students? Then it came back. So the question is, how well are we implementing that? I'm equally a teacher. I am not teaching RME, but you don't necessarily have to teach RME before you instill some moral values and ethics. So in our schools, even at places where they train artisans, morals and ethics should be part of it. Should be part of it. If somebody calls you to do estimate, don't overprice it. There's a brother of mine, anytime he has a contract, let's say a building project, and he calls you an artisan, say plumber, mason, okay, I want to do ABCD, give me an invoice. So that the artisan will bring the invoice. What he does, that I'm also learning to do now, is that after the artisans bring their invoices, he would, by himself, go to the shops, the very shops that people went to, and go and find out, like also just go and then take invoices on the same things. One of them, he did and showed to me, the person had increased the price of things, and I think the person was going to get about 50% more. How ethical is this person? So this is not all about classroom teaching and learning. Even in apprenticeship, the education and the moral training must go on. Social media, with our media practitioners and all of that, morals and ethics should be practiced. Should be taught. Something we should be deliberate about. If not, we're going to raise some kind of leaders. But like we're saying, our hope and belief is that we'll raise the right leaders in Ghana. We can talk about mentorship programs. Role of mentors in shaping the mentor and his mentee. But there's no contract to that effect. Yeah, sometimes it could be virtual. It could be a distance. The person doesn't know, but because of how you are carrying yourself, the person has decided, okay, I'll be a mentee. I will learn from the person indirectly. Thank God for social media. So the things the person does on social media, the things the person posts, the things the person does and all of that, the person you are learning from them. It could be a deliberate program. A well-organized, a well-structured mentorship program. It's one of the things McDan is doing, and I love so much. Mentorship program. And when you win the mentorship program, I think it's a competition. When you win, he gives you an amount of money and sets you up in business. So he's raising great leaders as well. All right. So mentorship programs will help groom ethical leaders. We can talk about civil engagement. Now, for instance, what we are doing on this platform, the youth, please help me out. Honorable Speaker, the name of the fellowship, the meeting again.
Youth Impact Movement or Youth Impact Parliament.
Youth Impact Parliament. You see, so the things we are learning already. I remember growing up, I never experienced anything like youth. Parliament. But I follow Honorable Speaker and I follow the things you guys do, and I'm like, whoa. So if any of you, this one could be a prophecy. By the time Honorable Speaker becomes the Speaker of Parliament, he has practiced this over time. He has learned the right things, and you become a better speaker for us. If I say a better, doesn't mean that the current speaker or the speakers before Honorable Alban Bagbin, I'm not saying he's not a good speaker, but you see, we move from good, better, best, and better is always good is not enough. Better is better than good, and best is better than what? Better. All right. So if today I am good at something and I train somebody, my expectation is that the person will become better than I am. Even Jesus said that I am leaving, and when I leave, the miracles I have done, you will even do better than me. That is a mark of a good leader. Those who are following you should do better than you. All right. So in this mentorship, in what we are doing, at the end of the day, we are becoming better people. I trust that you hear people say that, hey, woe unto the next generation, what will become of them? But I believe strongly that, listen, just like Elijah said, he wanted to kill himself because he felt that there was no prophet again in the land and that everybody was corrupt. And God said, no, don't deceive yourself. I have kept for myself 1,000 more prophets who are not defiled, who still uphold unto my statutes. And so don't worry. You see? So somebody wants to die because he feels that he's the only person left. So for anybody who's saying that, the fibers, the moral fibers, the ethical fibers of Ghana has been torn into pieces, they should check it, because God is raising some other leaders like you on this platform. Leaders like some people who will be watching this later. Challenge yourself to be that ethical leader that God is raising to change the narrative. Don't follow the negative things you are seeing. If they did it to you, don't like it, don't do to other people. Don't do to other people. When you get the nod, when the baton is handed over to you, don't do the same things you complain about. No, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, don't do it. Civic engagement and volunteering, encouraging involvement in community development to understand societal needs. Okay, let's be involved. That's how we can groom ethical leaders. They are going for communal labor. You should be part of it. You see, some things we learn them indirectly. They might not bring you into, say, a classroom and tell you, okay, this is how you lead ethically, this is how you behave. No. But as you are following, you engaging and all of that, you realize that, okay, this is how you volunteer. I want to be part of this program. I want to be part of that program. Out of that, you are learning and you become an ethical leader not too long from now. Building strong institutions. For instance, if we talk about what institution should I give us? So let's say immigration service or passport office. Are we still having the Goro boys and the Goro men and whatever? Is it a clear and a fair and transparent system that once I've purchased my form, I don't have to pay anything to anybody to receive my passport or my license renewed or whatever? Building strong institutions that uphold what? Ethical values. With that, so you get an organization, then you say, before now you knew that you have to give money before you are giving whatever contract. You give it this time around and they say, no, we don't do this again. This is not done. Just keep your money. We'll go to due protocol or due process and then we'll call you back. Wow, really? Oh, okay. If that is the case, then people begin to align. But now people who were once ethical, they were once ethical. Some of them have become very unethical because they've experienced time without number. They've gone to places and they offered something they were not attended to. You go to an office and they tell you the file they have to work on, They can't find the file. Whereas the file is right on the table of the person. They can't find the file. They can't find it. Then you go and tell somebody, I went to this office and then I wanted to get something done on my file. They tell me they can't find my file. Then this other person who experienced them earlier will be like, oh, you think you just believe that who line sinker? No, give them some money and see that you do not find your file tomorrow. Then you're like, really? You go and give them money and lo and behold, voila. The following day they tell you, oh, Charlie, we found your file and we are working on it. We are working on it. We are working on it. All right. So, I mean, we need to build strong institutions that will uphold ethical values. That's how we can groom ethical leaders. Now, what is the role of youth in nation building? Involving the youth in leadership roles early on. That is what will empower the next generation. Because the youth, we talk about the youth. And I'm happy if you look at the trend now, the youth are really entering into politics and entering very well. They're entering the leadership positions. We are not waiting for somebody who will be 50 or 60 or 70 before they want to go into politics or go into leadership. No. The youth are going into it. And that I'm excited about. You to go into it. If that is your calling, if you have that leadership skill, or you know you can be trained to become a great leader, an ethical leader, avail yourself. Be trained and lead. Not everybody will be leader of a large number, but in your own small environment, you'll be a leader. Even in your marriage, you, the husband, and even without children, you, the man, you are leading the family. So how ethically are you leading the family? So empowering the next generation is very critical because the youth has a role, or we have a role in nation building. Encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation. If we encourage this, so the youth are able to, or people are able to front things by themselves. We are not waiting for government or somebody to come and set up a business before we also come and, turn in our applications and then we go for interview and they give us a job. No. You are being encouraged. Venture into something. Look at problems in society. How do I solve them? Get it started. Be innovative. How do I do the same thing in a different way to get a different result? When you start doing that, you are grooming yourself to become a good leader because you are having that hands-on experience. Promoting civic responsibility, the importance of active citizenship in the younger population. Active citizenship. We will not be sitting on the fence, but we are also involved. Don't wait and say, I'm not there yet. Let me turn 40. Let me get a very well-paying job. Then I can start talking politics. That might be too late. Get involved. Leadership from the scratch. Be raised in that regard. I don't know how many know this man of God. I don't know that he's a prophet or an apostle, but he's called Reverend Bishop Pipi or so. People who have been raised in their church. I'm just citing an example. They leverage on talking about family and then relationships and marriage and all of that. So according to statistics, one of the pastors who is no longer with them, he now has his own church. He said that in the history of the church, there has been no divorce case. Not a single one. Not a single divorce. All who married in that church, from that church, not even one of them has divorced. Why? Because right from Sunday school, they started training them, or they started mentoring them, grooming them for marriage. The Christian kind of, or the godly kind of marriage. So they understand before you say, I do to A or B person or your partner, you understand what it means. It's the same thing we want to talk about here. That we should be able to allow for people to actively be involved from a very young age. Let's get involved to learn. Politics is not a dirty game. It is some players who are dirty. Now, if we allow majority of the players who are dirty to play the game, it will forever be dirty. So if you say that because I am a Christian, I fear God, I am spiritual, so I don't want to meddle in those their things, then believe you me, we will raise more unethical and diabolic and demonic leaders, and that will affect nation building. Get involved. Get involved. Now, let's look at some demonstration of ethical leadership. So this one, I'll just read. I'm not going to discuss it. I'll just read quickly. So looking at Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol.
Hello, sir. Okay. Please don't rush. Feel free and The flow, sir. We like the flow, so don't rush it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. But I hope not to hold us for too long. So let me try and then do it the way that will be beneficial to all of us. So we're looking at a demonstration of ethical leadership, and we're taking the case study of Johnson and Johnson's Tylenol poisoning. So this is something that happened and it was documented. So a classic case of ethical leadership in business is the Chicago Tylenol poisoning. Now, what is the Tylenol about? This is a pain reliever for, small to or moderate kind of pain. Okay, so with this medication, people are comfortable. They are made. It suits them when they take the Tylenol, but it was poisoned. So something happened. So on September 9th, 1982, a Chicago area 12-year-old girl woke up with a cold. Her parents gave her a tablet of extra strength Tylenol to ease her symptoms, and within hours, she died. Pathetic. 6 more deaths followed, and the connecting factor between them was having taken extra strength Tylenol shortly before passing away. Now, it was later discovered that the tablets were laced with cyanide, a chemical that interferes with the body's ability to use oxygen. So there was an introduction of cyanide. So Johnson & Johnson, Tylenol's parent company, had an ethical dilemma and a public relations disaster to contend with. Now, what happened? So, baffled as to how the cyanide got into the tablets, Johnson & Johnson's leaders acted quickly and pulled all Tylenol products off the shelves. 31 million bottles worth over $100 million, and stopped all production and advertising. Demonstration of ethical leadership. Because of the death of 7 people who took the Tylenol, they decided to recall 31 million bottles worth $100 million. Listen, this is not Ghana cedis, $100 million. They recall all. Ethical leadership. They even stopped production. So this cost them so much. Even the advertisement they had paid for, they stopped it. Now, the swiftness of their decision, although incredibly costly, put customers' well-being at the forefront and saved lives. So it was not just about profiteering for them to say that, oh, okay, I know we never put anything cyanide in any Tylenol, and so we don't care about it. Maybe it was some negligence of the people. So this one there is their own wahala. But the leadership, Johnson & Johnson, said, no, we are recalling 31 million bottles, though this is costing us $100 million. We are stopping production and we are stopping advertisement. With this Tylenol, we are supposed to save lives, to give people a good health. So we are not going to continue. We care about people we serve. So Johnson & Johnson partnered with the Chicago Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Food and Drug Administration to track down the perpetrator who added cyanide to the medication. The company offered another $100,000 reward and provided detailed updates on its investigation and product development following the crisis. Now, baffled as no, I think that's a repetition of that. Now, when it became clear that the killer had bought the product, laced it with cyanide, and returned it to the store shelves undetected, Johnson & Johnson developed the first ever tamper-resistant packaging. So because of an error that happened, out of this, when they sought to resolve it, they came up with the first ever tamper-resistant packaging. The safety seal that now covers the opening of most food and drug products was born because of what happened. Ethical leadership. If it were you, what would you have done? Hey, for me to lose $100 million per, oh, then people should die. Oh. Hey, it's only 6 people. You mean 6 human lives is just only? Okay, then let's replace those 6 people with you and your family people. If you're really empathetic, so these leaders, Johnson & Johnson, they were really empathetic. What if they had taken that medication by themselves? Because the medication came back to their shelf. Unfortunately, these families, got hold of it, and then they took it, and the child died. Other people also died. What if it was Johnson & Johnson themselves, their family, that used the same medication? So they said, no. We can lose $100 million just to save lives. We can give an extra $100,000 so that we can get down to the bottom of this. And truly, too, they got to the bottom of it. So they said, our highest responsibility has always been the health and safety of our customers or consumers. A Johnson & Johnson representative wrote in a statement to the Chicago Tribune. While this incident remains unsolved, this event resulted in important creation in the important industry improvements to patient safety measures, including the creation of tamper-resistant packaging. The Tylenol brand recovered from the incident largely because of Johnson & Johnson's leadership team's swift action and transparent care for customers. I want to believe at this point, having read through this ethical leadership demonstration by Johnson & Johnson, we have seen some key principles of ethical leadership. Now, let's get a second one quickly. Starbucks racial bias incident. This is also a demonstration of ethical leadership. Let's run it through. If one of your employees made a critical decision based on racial bias, how would you respond? That was the question Kevin Johnson, the CEO of coffee shop chain Starbucks, had to answer in April 2014. He said one day, 2 black men entered a Starbucks in Philadelphia and asked to use the bathroom. The manager on duty told them the restroom was for paying customers only, and that was a lie. So they sat down to wait for their friend to arrive before ordering. Now, what is the error? What crime did they commit here? The manager called the police, who arrested the men for trespassing. Oh, just to use a restroom, we've been arrested. Although no charges were filed, the arrest went viral and sparked protests throughout the United States in April 2014. Now, Starbucks, which prides itself on being an ethical brand, has one of the most diverse leadership groups in corporate America. 5 of the brand's 14 members are women, and 5 are from racial minority groups. Now, so this racially motivated incident clashed with its values. So the things they upheld, now this is a manager from that particular organization, being racial. So this was contrary to the values they professed. So Johnson fired the manager. Ethical leadership. It doesn't matter how good this manager has been. And I want to believe that this manager in question was of the same race as the CEO. But then the CEO fired this manager. This is what? Integrity. Though it is hard for me to do, but because it is the ethical thing to do, I will fire him, though I have the same color or the same complexion as him. So Johnson fired the manager. Interestingly, Johnson is the name we are encountering in the second demonstration as well. Johnson fired the manager who called the arrest and apologized to the 2 men and also announced racial bias training for all Starbucks employees. Because of this incident, he called for what? A training. We said, how can we groom ethical leaders? Training, education and training. So it doesn't just happen. We must be trained to become real ethical leaders. What we are doing is part of the training. And like I said, you can even go a step further, taking up some leadership programs that would help us to understand ethical leadership and to practice same. So he announced racial bias training for all Starbucks employees. To emphasize the training's importance, Johnson closed 8,000 locations on May 29, 2018 to educate 175,000 employees. Look at the statistics. 8,000 locations were closed on 29th of May 2018. And the purpose was what? Educate 175,000 employees. What was the cost for this? Estimated $12 million was lost in profit. But this was to what? To spread the message that Starbucks cares about its customers, employees, and the society. Ethical leadership. If really the leadership of those who are behind the Galamsey in Ghana, if they really care, because Ghana got to that point where organized labor was about going for a demonstration. What is the name? A strike. What happened? What didn't happen? Okay, so the presidency has promised that they will look into the matter. And so we called it off. If the leaders of the people who own this Galamsey mines, okay, if they are really, really concerned about Ghana, if they are really ethical leaders, and they realize that what we are doing upstream is disturbing those downstream, we need to put a stop to it immediately. An ethical leader would have put a stop to it. But what do we see? They are still mining and expecting that government will have to release some machinery and then release some soldiers to come and be throwing some weapons and do that before they will know. Or before they will stop. They need to be arrested and prosecuted before they will stop causing harm to people. When it's in the news, it's everywhere that we are all fed up with it. Our once beautiful lakes and then our once beautiful river bodies, our water bodies have been polluted. The color alone is not even the problem. But the situation that there are chemicals in it that even if the face of the water becomes clear, pure as something we can look beneath the water bodies, there are chemicals in it that the scientists say that those chemicals can remain in our system for over 10 years. So should these things be introduced to our system? Look at what it's going to cost us. Medical Society of Ghana came up and said that some of the genetical errors that are being formed in people is because of some of these things. Can I surprise you in Ho? You and I, we are in Ho now. And so we feel that we are not concerned about it because, if we are talking about polluted water bodies, this is Accra, this is about the mining areas. We don't have anything to do with this thing. Can I shock you? The bottled water we are drinking, most of them are not produced and packaged here in Ho. You see the Belacqua truck come to, offload, packs of Belacqua. Where is it coming from? Do you know where their production or their industry is? The other brands. Do you know where they get the water from? So let's not say that, okay, and as far as we are in the Volta region, our water bodies are still safe. The Volta Lake is still looking good compared to the River Pra, compared to the... No, it's a national issue. We all need to be concerned. As an ethical leader, though it is not happening in your house, once it's happening around you, you are concerned about it. That's an ethical leader. You are empathetic about other people's plight. So this is what Starbucks did. They lost about $12 million just so they can educate 175,000 employees. They closed 8,000 of their locations on the 29th of May 2018. I ask you again, before now, if it were you, what would you do? How can I allow my $12 million to go like that? No, okay, that cannot happen. Lie. But today I want to believe that you are that ethical leader who is saying, no, I cannot go that route. I would be an ethical leader. The people's concern will be my concern. It will not just be about myself. It will not just be about my people. It will be about everybody. My concern will be for everybody. I will demonstrate the principles of integrity, the principles of fairness, transparency, accountability, and the likes. Now, at this point, Honorable Speaker, I want to present to the House a case study, the infrastructure project. I will need all participants to, I told you I'm working with 22 slides. So this is slide number 80. So we have 4 more slides. 2 slides would be for the case study, and 2 will be the questions. All right. So if we are ready, I am ready. Okay. So we are going to look at the case study because I'll be projecting the questions later on. I wish that I had the questions in a Google form so that we could fill them, but we don't have that now. So we're just going by what we have here. So we're talking about the infrastructure project. This is the case study, the infrastructure project. Don't forget, the subject matter we are handling or we are dealing with is grooming ethical leaders for nation building. So the case study is on the infrastructure project. So let's look at it. In a developing nation, a government official named Alex, please, Alex just came randomly. So we can put, if you are Alex, please forgive me. I didn't know you would come. If I had known that you would come for this meeting, I won't use your name at all. So please pardon me for today. Thank you very much. All right. So Alex is overseeing a major infrastructure project aimed at improving transportation and access to services in rural areas. Now, the project promises to boost the economy and enhance the quality of life for many citizens underlined. However, Alex discovers that a significant portion of the project's budget has been allocated to a construction company owned by a close friend. Okay. Alex is aware that this company has a history of superb work and has been involved in corruption scandals. If Alex chooses to investigate and report these findings, the project could be delayed, potentially harming the community that relies on these improvements. So you see, we talked at a point about the short-term achievements and then the long-term visions. All right. However, remaining silent might perpetuate corruption and lead to further misuse of public funds. Should we achieve something today and then cause harm in the future? So this is our case study. Now, so this is the end of, so okay, it's even just a one slide case study. I don't think I have to go over it again. Okay, let me just read through it one more time. Then we'll go to the questions. In a developing nation, a government official named Alex is overseeing a major infrastructure project aimed at improving transportation and access to services and rural areas. In rural areas. The project promises to boost the economy and enhance the quality of life for many citizens. However, Alex discovers that a significant portion of the project's budget has been allocated to a construction company owned by a close friend. Not just a friend, a close one. Alex is aware that this company has a history of superb work and has been involved in corruption scandals. If Alex chooses to investigate and report these findings, the project could be delayed, potentially harming the community that relies on these improvements. However, remaining silent might perpetuate corruption and lead to further misuse of public funds. All right, now to the questions. Question 1. Who are the key stakeholders in this situation? Example, the community, government, construction company. So at this point, I think I need to move from the slideshow so that we can now interact. So I'm ending the slideshow. Honorable Speaker, is that fine by us? Okay, all right. So I'm ending the slide, and I want to see the comment section, or people who want to raise their hands and they want to speak to some of them. I think that will be powerful. What do you think? That will be powerful. All right. So first question: who are the key stakeholders in this situation? We can have it in the chat session so that we could just read them out, and then we are good to go. Hey, I can't see my chat too. Honorable Speaker, where's my chat? Chat, where are you? Chat, where are you? Okay. Okay, so the chat is here. Okay, all right. Thank you for the hi. All right, so hi as well. Okay. In-call message, please. Okay. All right. So maybe you want to answer it. You want to just speak to it. You can feel free, and then maybe raise your hand or show something. Then we'll call you. Just answer quickly. We want to have a dialogue. So want to have a dialogue. Okay. People are engaging the chat so that we are sure that we have the in-call messages. Okay. This is an in-call message. All right. Okay. Not a chat. In-call messages. So let me know that you are there. Give a hi or something, and then we can move from there. Hi. Okay. All right. So I want to make this okay. So okay. All right. Okay. So who are the key stakeholders in this situation? We can have it in the call messages. You can type it there, or if your hand is lifted, you can just unmute yourself and then you tell us. Once you have the mic, just flow. Who are the key stakeholders in this situation? So there's the government. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The government is there. The construction company. Those ones are on the screen. The community. Alex himself is a stakeholder, right? Alex is a stakeholder as well. I think. Let me move on with the question so that we would. Let me just keep them. Then where I really need you involved. I want to hear your personal opinion about those ones. Then I'll bring them in. Now, how might each stakeholder's interest? Okay, how might each stakeholder's interest, well-being, be impacted by Alex's decision? How would that happen? So if we take, for instance, the government, how would this affect the government? So the Alex decision, whether to investigate and then delay the program, or not investigate and allow things to just it will be, because it's a close friend. Let him do what he wants to do, and then we move like that. How would that impact? What would be the impact of Alex's decision to report or not to report? Can I have somebody unmute and talk? In this case, I want somebody to talk. I see somebody say, Honorable Speaker says corrupt friend too. Corrupt friend too. You see the thing now. Now, I want somebody to unmute. Can I have somebody unmute and talk to us? How might each, unless of course you've not followed the discussion all this while, but I want to believe that you followed and you've learned something. Oh, some people are leaving the meeting. I guess it's a problem of network. The internet should be given a problem. Oh, Honorable Speaker, please go ahead. Please.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
I've been thinking about the issue. It looks like, in order not for each of the parties to suffer the immeasurable consequence, it looks safer to engage Alex's friend backdoor and let him and inform him that he's not going to allow him to take advantage of this position, of this particular contract. However, he would have I don't know, like, because if his friend loses the contract, basically they are going to become enemies. But at the end, if the thorough investigation happens, the project is going to be delayed. The problem I have is that government projects, when they want to do this investigation, it's going to take a year or two. So it feels like a safer option to engage Alex's friend backdoor and let him know that you have standards and principles you want to meet. You want to let him know that you have all the powers to let him not have this contract, but you are going to let him do it on concession that he will be accountable and do the project per the resources that have been released and per the schedules. But if he still disagrees, then we know that we have consulted him, and therefore the best to do is to go ahead with the investigation, of which he would not even like. So looking at the concession, he would actually concur and then go by. That is what I feel, because the community is the one to suffer with the delay of this project if the investigation goes through. That is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The floor is open, so please share your opinion as well, honorable members. Should I start mentioning names? I see one, Isaac Etonam. Feel free, share your opinion. Okay. Yeah, please unmute and then talk to us, Isaac.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ernest. This is a very delicate scenario, but I think that from the scenario itself, the right action or the definite action that Alex is to take is not known. And so, in my opinion, if Alex decides to investigate this particular issue, taking the government as a key stakeholder in this issue, I think that the government is the one who did the assignment of the contract to Alex's close friend. I believe that before you assign contract and so on, there should be some kind of investigations that might have gone on and so on. And so, if the government is awarding this contract to this person, is it the case that the government had done a proper check on the company to be sure of its integrity and viability to be able to deliver on this job before offering the contract? If that is the case, then it means that the government itself is corrupt, because they might have found that this company is not best fit, but maybe for their parochial interest and award the contract. And so if Alex decides to go, might even end up removing him as a supervisor. It's a government contract. They can take you off. And so trying to go into the case might be an attempt to make the government unpopular. And for purposes of making that not to happen, you, the one trying to investigate, might be in problem. So that is what I feel. But if Alex also decides not to investigate the issue, then I think that it will be a bad kind of outcome on the community as a stakeholder, because in the end you are going to get a project that is not well done, and the problem returns after a year or two, and then you are still back to zero. And so these are just my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Isaac. Thank you. I mean, great submission. But Honorable Isaac, what about the fact that, so, in some organizations, Alex in this case is the manager. What if there is a team in charge of bringing on board the organization or the company that would embark on the project? So he is not directly involved. So they've gotten somebody who will do the project. Now he gets to know, okay, we came to report. So this is the company we are giving to. And Alex gets to know at this point that this is a close friend. And I know about some scandals about this friend. I mean, and so at this point, so in this, would you want to fault Alex in this case, or Alex has a clean sheet here? What is your take on that? Honorable Isaac, back to you.
Yeah. So in this one, I think that then Alex has a clean sheet. But then upon upon realizing that still the company is questionable, then I think that his afterward reaction will determine whether indeed he has a clean sheet. Because if you find out later that no, this company, even though my people have brought, it's not good enough, then I think that you should take action, maybe lay down some strict rules and so on. You know what they say about institutions: if the institutions are strong, then things are bound to kind of go a bit well. So if you can put those things in check to make sure that there are no embezzlement or misappropriation and so on, then I can say that yes, you have a clean sheet. But if you do not, and you just want to go and say that okay, it's my people, after all, I will not be directly blamed, then you also be thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Great submission. I see Honorable Divine Elom on the call. Honorable Divine, would you want to share something about our second question? How might each stakeholder's interests and well-being be impacted by Alex's decision? Whatever decision Alex would take in this case, how would that impact? I mean, any other submission? Any other submission from any member at all? Not only Brother Divine. I only mentioned Brother Divine's name, but so let me mention everybody's name. Hello. Is Brother Divine speaking? Hello, Brother Divine. Thank you. Okay.
Actually, my network got disrupted and I was kind of off for some time. So I was not able to get a clear view of the case study.
Of the case study. Oh,
yes,
okay. Please. Okay. Maybe I should just go back to it quickly, right? quick. It's just a very short case study because I really want you to contribute. So let me bring the case study again. So no, this is not
Okay,
it.
thank you very much.
All right. Now, so in a developing nation, a government official named Alex is overseeing a major infrastructure project aimed at improving transportation and access to services in rural areas. The project promises to boost the economy and enhance the quality of life for. I'm not sure you can see. Can you see that on the screen?
Yes, please, I can.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The project promises to boost the economy and enhance the quality of life for many citizens. However, Alex discovers that a significant portion of the project's budget has been allocated to a construction
Hello.
company. Oh, hello.
Please, it seems the case study, I'm only seeing the questions here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then let me reshare. Where are you? Okay, I guess you can see the case study now.
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. But I think I can go on. Should I go on, or I should start all over again?
Oh, please, you can go on.
Okay, so however, Alex discovers that a significant portion of the project's budget has been allocated to a construction company owned by a close friend. Alex is aware that this company, has a history of suburb work and has been involved in corruption scandals. If Alex chooses to investigate and report these findings, the project could be delayed, potentially harming the community that relies on this improvement. However, remaining silent might perpetuate corruption and lead to further misuse of public funds. So this is our case study, and we are asking a few questions about that. Part of the question number one we looked at was about who are the key stakeholders that we can clearly bring them out. The second question is how might each stakeholder's interest and well-being be impacted by Alex's decision? So this is what we are looking at now. Maybe we can take a final one from Brother Divine on this one, and then we can move on.
Okay, so thank you very much for the quick recap.
All right, that's fine. Welcome.
Yeah. So based on the case study, I can say the main goal of this is that what to enhance the quality of the economy. So if Alex is able to, find out that this close friend has, let's say, okay, he was able to discover that this close friend has or is involved in corrupted, activities. Since his main goal is to boost or enhance the life of the community, I think maybe he might approach this friend of his, try and talk things with him behind closed doors and see how it works here first. Because if he goes on to, continue with this project, he might end up destroying more lives than trying to improve it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Divine, for your submission. Let's go to the third one. What ethical principles are at stake in this case? And some examples are there. But so what would you say? This one are just examples. But what and what would you, point as ethical principles as we discussed that are at stake in this particular case study? Can we have them? As we discuss, it is helping. Okay, I see Mensa, Eric. Oh, the network is unstable, or is it because my battery is running down? I'm not having a smooth hearing. Oh, sorry about that. Is it the case for everybody? Honorable members, is it the same? The same for everybody? Are we all experiencing the same? Okay, somebody said no. All right. Time's down, so it's not the same. Isaac's okay. Fine. Thank you. So integrity is in the picture there. Yeah. Isaac's integrity is in the picture there. I said Isaac, sorry, because I saw Isaac comment. So I'm saying Isaac. Alex's integrity, yeah. Alex's integrity is in the line. What else? Aside integrity, is there accountability there? Is there transparency? Is there loyalty? So are we seeing Alex trying to be loyal to the friend and not give the friend up as somebody who is scandalous or who has, some skeletons in his cupboard for which he will not want to deal with him in this regard? Yes, there could be a delay. Now, if you ask me, if it's about delay, the delay is nothing now. So let's get it. I have a principle in life, okay, as part of my ethical stance. If it must be done, it must be done well. So if Alex has been involved in, what's the name? This Alex's close friend has been involved in scandalous activities for long, and he's had a bad reputation or bad record. I don't want to even go and try him again. Let me go for somebody who I know. This is my opinion anyway. So we have varied opinions here, but the bottom line is that we should make sure that the key principles of ethical leadership are demonstrated, and which we are outlining now: integrity, accountability, transparency, loyalty. So should Alex be loyal to his governing party, or he should be loyal to this friend? Now, if you ask me, I could lose one friend just to save a community. You see the whole thing. It's better for me to lose a friend and to save the whole community than for me to lose the community or to deny the community of good things just because Alex would make some money. And if you ask me, that's what is happening, that people have been allowed to continue mining illegally and they are polluting our water bodies. All right? They are polluting our water bodies just because somebody, if we bring them out, friendship will be spoiled, or we'll not have good friends again, or because of the benefits I get from that friend, maybe year in, year out, he brings me some bars of gold, or he promises me one treat or the other, and so because of that, I will not give the person up. And I think that is what is causing us. Close friend, whether close friend or no close friend, as an ethical principle, you should be loyal to the masses, not to an individual. We should be loyal to the masses and not an individual. Because I respect Honorable Speaker's submission that maybe you could talk to him, closed doors and all that. But, some people, there are some way. This person has been doing it over and over again. Assuming he goes to talk to him and he says, oh, don't worry, I'll do it. And the taxpayers' money is released. He goes to the thing and he does some shoddy thing. At the end of the day, maybe 1 year, maybe what he used to do, within 6 months, the thing will start defacing or would have issues. But this one, you only go and then reinforce it small and do it for it to last for 2 years. But the expectation of the project is that this project should last about 10 years, at least. But he goes to do it 2 years. Still, the problem is not solved. Funds have been misused. Right? So, against all odds, I would go for somebody who would have a good track record, and I save the public purse, and the community will be grateful for what they have done for me all this while. Let's take a typical example. Those of us in Ho and its environs. Look at this place. What's the name? Let me take it from, let's say, Taviope to towards Vane. Okay, Taviope Vane to Biakba. That road to Fume. Look at that road that Rolida did. I don't know the year that road was constructed, but quality is quality, right? I've not seen even a patching being done for any pothole on that road. The road is still intact and it's still good, because I understand it was an international company that sponsored it. The road from Taviope, those who are in Ho or in Itsever would understand what we are saying better. It's not an asphalted road, but the road is still quality. It's still durable. Year in, year out, heavy trucks are passing but the road is still good. How come the other ones, before you say Jack, then some leader was ethical, and I believe that the right thing was done. There was accountability, there was transparency, there was fairness. People took responsibility, And that is why we still have that road should be more than 10 years. If I'm not mistaken, that road should be more than 10 years. But still, it is intact. All right. Let's run through the other questions quickly. I don't want to hold this here for too long. If it becomes too long, it becomes too boring, even though there could be some things that will come up. How do these principles come into conflict in Alex's situation? Mr. Speaker, I would be making the slide available. I don't mind. I'll make the slide available. And so some of the questions, per what we have learned, we could delve deeper into it and then try to answer the questions. Or maybe in another session, Honorable Speaker could lead the session, or somebody else lead the session, and then we look at the case study per what we have learned, take the questions one after the other, and then we get ourselves well informed. All right. Okay, Honorable Speaker is talking about Muhammad's asphalt roads in Ho as well. 8 years down the line, the asphalted roads, they are still. I remember it was an election year when this asphalted thing, the asphalt overlay was done, and it was not done in only Ho. I think all the regional capitals, or the major towns in Ghana, people talked against it. Is it asphalted road we need? Is it this we need? Hey, are you sure? Are you sure? At least it has reduced, breakages and damages on people's cars. I remember when this asphalted roads were fixed in Ho recent, those times. Even if your car has some noise under, the ball joints are making noise. When you hit the asphalt, it feels as though you don't have any problem with your car. But get to the normal bitumen, and then you begin to the part will begin to give you up. Say, you are still here. They'll still make noise. You see, but because of the asphalt, when you hit the asphalt, it's all smooth, and you think that everything is all good, okay with your car. But there's a problem. So you see, once things are done right, the returns and then posterity always judge right. Okay. So how do these principles come into conflict with Alex's situation? We can. So let me just keep the questions, or let me just run through them. How might Alex's decision influence public trust in government and leadership? In what ways could this situation impact the overall development of the nation? We can talk about what qualities should ethical leaders possess when facing dilemmas like this. So the qualities you possess will determine what decision you will take. All right. But if you are bankrupt of this key ethical principles and qualities, you just do anything once it benefits you or your political party, the people can perish. You don't care about that. But I trust God that that's the kind of leaders we are becoming. How can Alex balance personal relationships with professional responsibilities? Because we're talking about a close friend here. Not just a friend, a close friend. I want to believe this somebody, they go to mutual joint together. They belong to, let's say, a club. Maybe they play hockey, or they play tennis, or they do something together. They belong to the same club. Okay. How would he have to put the balance? It's very critical. What recommendations would you offer Alex regarding how to proceed? What recommendations would you offer Alex regarding how to proceed? I think some of the submissions that came, they tried to touch on that, but I don't want us to tabernacle on this for too long. So I just want to round it up. So we can have this discussion some other time. Then the final question, the 12th question we are looking at is, what steps can the government take to promote ethical leadership and prevent corruption in future projects? What steps can the government take to promote ethical leadership and prevent corruption in future projects? All right. So as part of what's the name? As part of Youth Impact Movements project, having discussed this, we can put up a communique that this is what we are expecting. This is what we are expecting, that a new government or the same government might come again after the 7th December election. Youth Impact Project. Maybe put up a communique. These are the steps we want government to take to promote ethical leadership and to prevent corruption in future projects. Because definitely projects are going to come up again. New projects will come up. So as Youth Impact, this is what we have as our communique. It's on our social media, and this is what we stand for. And once we are putting up a communique, it means that all members of Youth Impact Movement, we are also bound to this kind of virtues. this kind of ethical behaviors, it should be demonstrated wherever we find ourselves. So it shouldn't be as though because once it's the youth impact that is working on something, then we are part of it. But when we get to other spheres of our life and then our projects, then we are doing something else. No, whatever we uphold as a community, we should also uphold same as individuals wherever we find ourselves. Now, so in concluding this, there's a call to action. And so as we reflect on the importance of ethical leadership in shaping our communities and nations, I want you to consider the following call to action. Number one, we need to embrace integrity. We need to embrace integrity. Number two, not in any particular order. I mean, they are all equally important. So embrace integrity, lead by example, be ahead, let them follow you. Lead by example. Don't be at the back and say, okay, you go, I'm directing you. No, lead. Let's see the virtues in you yourself. Then the people can easily emulate it. There is this Chinese proverb that says that let me try and remember. What I see, I forget. Just seeing it. Is it what I see? No, what I hear, I forget. I think we can get that quote better. But it's about what I hear. I think what I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. What I handle, I am able to do. All right? If you're just telling me, oh, okay, you need to be ethical. You need to have integrity. You need to have this. When I hear these things, I forget about them. I forget it. When I see it, okay, when I see it, then, okay, at least I remember that I saw you do this. So I also do the same. That if I also practice it, then that one day I remember it forever. And I'm always able to do it. So let's hold on to that Chinese proverb and apply it as well. So lead by example. Then also, we're saying that the third one, engage with your community. Now, you cannot be distant from your community. You cannot be, absent of the things your community does, and you claim that you'll be an ethical leader. No. You can only become empathetic if you are involved. You see how people are struggling. You see how people are going about their things. Then you can become a better ethical leader. So engage with your community. Champion accountability. If you belong to a group and then there's a need for him to be accountable for things, or champion it. No, we have to be accountable for this. I remember I went for one meeting like that, and then they presented account. In fact, the account that was presented that day, when accounts are presented, then the finance secretary would declare that I move a motion that this be accepted accepted for discussion. So after discussion, then we accept it as a true working document of the house or for the association. I raised my hand and said, what has been presented cannot be accepted as a true working document, because in the minutes of that meeting, my name will be there and it will be recorded that I also accepted that as a true working document. No. And in this case, the person who read the account is a close brother. We grew up together in the same community. He's older than me. But with the document he presented, I said, no, this one cannot happen. Somebody came from among the secretaries to talk me into just accepting that, oh, you know what, let's just accept and then go. I said, it won't happen. I said, no, I cannot be part of this thing. And this document we presented as a true working document. I can't be part of it. That was how that particular account was rejected. The person went back, and when he came back this time around, he came back with a better account, a true record of what he was accountable for. And from that time, people wanted me to be in meetings so I can critique some of these things. When we critique things, it doesn't mean that we are punching holes and we don't like the person who presented. No, it's for the better good for all of us. All right. So champion accountability, champion it. Promote inclusivity. Promote inclusivity. We are all involved. Let's not take sides. I mean, for instance, if it is NPP that is still continuing next year, if it is NDC coming, if it's PPP coming, once it's a new government, it's our Ghana. Let's get involved so that we make it better. If Ghana is better, it's for all of us. It's not for any political party. All right? Let's all get involved. So promote inclusivity. Educate and advocate. Educate and advocate. So I'm giving a charge to Youth Impact. Let's educate the public. Let's advocate. Let's educate the public. Let's advocate. Honorable Speaker, how about we visiting public schools? Let them get to know from infancy. Let them get to know. Let's get to not only public schools. I mean, second cycle, tertiary. Let's get to them. Let's organize seminars. Let's let them know what they need to know. Because this is a good topic for us to handle. I mean, across board. Let people get involved. Let them know that, see, we need to raise and groom ethical leaders. It's for our own good. Because that will set a good tone for nation building. All right, we can talk about invest in future leaders. Let's invest in future leaders. Very key. It's a call to action. Let's reflect and learn. As an individual, reflect on yourself. This action I've taken, is it one that will benefit the whole community? Is it worth it? Would it affect the larger people, the larger populace? Then, reflect and learn. All right, this is an action we need to take. Commit to continuous improvement. That's the final one I want to look at. The call to action is that commit to continuous improvement. Commit to continuous improvement. The last but not the least, the 22nd slide. Don't forget that today is the 22nd day, and also it's the 22nd session, virtual leadership seminar. So the 22 is serious. And this is my 22nd slide in ending the presentation. Ethical leaders or ethical leadership is key to sustainable nation building. Embrace it. Embrace it. Ethical leadership is key to sustainable nation building. Let's embrace it. On this beautiful note, Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for having me. This is not part of the slide, so this is not the 23rd. I have ended the slide, so this is the final. The final slide is the 22nd one, but this is just to say thank you for your audience. Thank you. God bless you. Honorable Speaker, please, over to you.
Wow. I don't remember. This is that they tell you. The man is loaded. I must say, some of us were enjoying it, and we had wished that the lecture never ended. That is why we treasure every single moment that you have spent with us, and some of us will watch the video over and over again, just for you to do.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I am humbled and honored to be part of this great family. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Colleagues, honorable members, you can ask questions now, make comments, and then contributions to the topic. So the floor is open for that. If you want to do so, just raise your hand and then I'll call you. So questions, contributions, and if you want to seek clarity as well. Yes, or maybe you want to correct something. The floor is open for that. Unless you don't have anything to say, then I'll proceed with mine. Okay, let's hear from Isaac.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Mine is just a comment. I just want to say, like, a very, very big thank you to the speaker. It's been a very, very educative session, and I will not lie, it has opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I pray that we have grace to be able to carry some of these things out. Thank you, Speaker. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Brother Isaac. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, any other comments, contributions, or questions? If there are none, I'll go ahead to make some comments that maybe I wrote a lot of things during the 2-hour seminar or lecture, I've noted that you stated that there must be. You cited the United States that they have a cap of support to political parties.
That's right.
I'm aware that yes, like if you want to support in terms of financial support, there's a ceiling. I'm aware that they have when you want to compete in an election, the public or your supporters fund you. It's not like it is not as in Ghana that when you want to go for election, you rather have to give to the citizens to vote for you, but they
Yeah.
fund you. I'm just not aware of the cap, and if this is really a reality there, I think our political system has to find a way to inculcate that. President Mahama, I think a year or 2 years ago, he was talking about funding to political parties, and he might have stated that that thing is really something that I think will really reduce this issue of entitlements that some of the political
That's right.
candidates have, because it is really worrying that because he has supported the party maybe 3 billion or 5 billion, it's like they now hail him as he's the financial savior of the party, as if
Exactly.
we or some people who have been supporting, because it is not in cash, it is still more valuable now. And it tends to take away attention from other contributions done by people. And
Very
with
true.
this, I've really learned that then we will find a way to convince our elders to bring this in, because see, seriously speaking, you serve a party for about 10 to 15 years, someone will come and give just 3 million and he's being hailed as the savior of the party.
That's
Also,
right.
the
That's
service for
right.
the last 15 years has been devaluated.
That's true. That's true. And if we
Yeah.
want to really cost your service that you rendered, maybe it might be more than the 3 million that the person came to give. You see? So that's what I heard some time ago as well, that there's a capping. So, but if you go beyond that, then it goes into the national pairs or something. Maybe we could find out about that, and then so you don't give to so that we say that, oh, you have given more than this, and so when we come into power, then you begin to make demands. I'm the greatest shareholder. No. We are all equal shareholders. So you don't come and then say that I want to be giving this ABCD contract. No. So the person who is most qualified goes for it. So it's something we can start talking about, and then we see how it gets into our people. Part of it too is about even our delegate system. When we're going to choose leaders to vote for, let's say the what's the name, parliamentary candidates, for instance. For as long as it's the delegate system, you will have it that people would have to give money to the delegates to come and vote. But assuming it's open to all of us, once you are a member, you are a card-bearing member of, say, NPP or NDC, what happens? Everybody's coming to vote. Can you give money to everybody? You can't. You can't. But for as long as somebody's going to represent me, so though we have a better candidate who will stand for parliamentary candidates and all of that, but you don't have money. So once you don't have money, it means that you cannot. So money is really a factor that leadership must really consider. As we are coming up, let's not just follow the status quo and say, oh, this is how we've been doing it from ages. When did you come? No, knowledge is progressive. You can't be doing the same thing over and over again. Is it helping us? If it's not, let's change it. If it's not, let's change it. Thank you, Namusika. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. And also to add on it, I'm aware that in Kenya, they have passed a bill that says that when you are giving any gift, whether in cash or kind, that is worth a particular threshold, that gift no more goes to the government official, but goes into the coffers of the government.
Wow.
Yeah, they have passed a bill like that. I just don't know the threshold, but so far as the gift is worth a particular amount of money, or even if it is cash and it is more than that money, you are no more entitled by law to take that gift. You deposit it with the government and it goes straight to government treasury. I think some of these things, if we bring it into our system, we will be able to combat corruption.
Oh yeah, that brings to the point of building stronger institutions, right? So if the institutions are built such that you can't pass that threshold, you can't pass that threshold. But it looks as if in our own divide, everything for everything. I mean, then you see the blame game goes. When you also came, didn't you do the same? When you didn't you also do the same? It's high time that we change that narrative. What is ethical? What will be beneficial to the masses? That's what we should uphold. Not that, okay, Kofi did it when they were in power. So if we're also doing it now, it's because Kofi was doing it, we didn't like it. That's why we brought Amma. So Amma, face the thing and do the right thing. You see? Exactly. I salute what Kenyans have done. I really salute that. Seriously. I don't know whether it was still Kenya or Rwanda, one of the countries where it so happened that their independence is celebration. When you look at the budget, I mean, the president at the time said, no, we cannot use this money for just Independence Day celebration. We have, hospitals without beds. So we would rather channel that money to do that. I mean, so when they didn't celebrate that in that year, is the country not still independent?
Yeah, they are still independent.
We are majoring on the minors and minoring the majors. That's our problem. What is the benefit? Look at, let's take Ho for instance, the youth center. Okay, the youth center that was built for just to commemorate the was it the 62nd or 60? I've forgotten the year that happened. Independence Day. Now the place is a dungeon. The place is more like a dungeon now. We can't even have sports there. Public funds has been misused. So one will ask, what if that amount of money was used to renovate the long-standing what's the name stadium we have in Ho here, which is central to all of us?
Yeah,
maybe by now would have had need for it.
Yeah,
no renovation. It was not even completed well before it was used. You see. So what is the name? Look at the number before they conveyed from Accra, from all over the country to come to Ho to come and celebrate Independence Day. What is the benefit thereof? Can't we channel that budget into something else? That's my young opinion, though somebody might have reason why it should be celebrated. But in my own opinion as well, what is the benefit of it? Fine, even if we have to celebrate, we can talk budget. Look at the military vehicles they move from all over the country. They fueled all of them and brought just for display. Is it worth it? We've gone to borrow money. Is this how we use the money? Let's not go too deep.
Sure. Okay. There is something happening in Kenya. I want to brief you about it and to seek your opinion on the turnout of events there. Kenya just impeached their deputy president. His name is His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. The man, I have studied him for long and I've followed his impeachment trial. What I've seen about the man is that he's someone who is seen to be, he's not really that political behavioristic person. He's plain. When it is wrong, it is wrong. He will not see black and tell you it is white. So due to that, he appears to be like, he just hits you so hard that the political class does not appear to like him. And he's seen as the people's person. So when Ruto paired with him, they won the election landslide because the guy was a people's person. He was so much close to the people because of how candid he was. But however, 2 years down the lane, because when he sees that the thing is wrong, he will not buy it. He will just tell you down for it. The political class started hating him and they conspired against him to impeach him and remove him from office.
That's right.
Up to now, I feel so much pain for how the man has been treated because all the charges the 11 charges they brought against this man are not substantiated. They are not even correct charges. They look like things that they made up. But because the government in power, Kenya Kwanza coalition government, wanted to remove him, over 80% of members of the National Assembly voted against him to be impeached after he spent 2 hours clarifying all these things. When the matter came to the Senate, his lawyers spoke as well, and they voted against him for 5 charges, and he was acquitted with 6 charges. But unfortunately, if 1 charge is being upheld, he's been removed from office.
Wow.
He's been removed from office. And up to now, I even met a Kenya Yeah, I actually met a Kenyan just a few days ago, and I discussed
Okay.
the matter with her, and she was like, "Yes, they are all disappointed with how Ruto is acting right now because when he was deputy president to Uhuru Kenyatta, he also
Okay.
spoke for the right thing, and that was how people had hope in him and voted for him. But after he became president, the man has changed completely. That whilst
All
his
of a sudden.
deputy did the same thing, he is now against his deputy for doing the same thing he did when he was deputy for 10 years. I'm still in pain for this one because this man had been ethical in his dealing as deputy president, but because he stood out of the political class, they conspired against him and impeached him. I want to hear your opinion
Honorable
on this
Speaker,
situation. Thank you.
so you see, you know what the problem is? So the problem is that, like I said earlier, we have allowed anybody in quotes, let me say anybody in quotes, to infiltrate the political system. And then again, talking about the Christendom, for instance, people who know God, fear God, and we uphold certain values and statutes of the Christendom. Not only in the Christendom, there are Muslims who also uphold good morals and good ethics. Okay. But we have allowed somebody, as we say, who is a pagan, who doesn't believe in the things of God, who has no regard or respect for God and man, who has gone into politics, and they have dominated as the majority until we have the majority side coming to people who fear God and uphold this moral values and ethics. When one person goes, they will choke the person out. They will choke the person out. So look at this vice president who stood for the right thing, who was still, ethical, but they impeached him. All because the majority in there, over the trouble they get, the extra monies they get, the corrupt things they do there, this guy has blocked them from it. Currently, I'll speak about Ghana, for instance. Our 1992 constitution has outlived its youthfulness. Its usefulness. Now the question is, who would come and amend it? Who will allow the amendment? Because once it is done, so many people might even go to jail once they leave power. People are being shielded by the constitution. People are being protected by some of the articles and some of the clauses and all of that. The day they would work on this amendment and 1992 constitution will be amended for good, and that it will favor the ordinary citizen in Ghana, that person who will do that, the person will be held forever and ever in Ghana. So until we accept the fact that, hey, politics is not a dirty game, it is leadership, and we who maybe stand in good position as people who fear God and respect humanity and think about others, and we can can flood the system. I always use Facebook as an example, or social media. I remember gone were the days when Facebook came up. It was not on mobile; it was a desktop application. So I had a friend who was very close to me, let's say a beloved, who was going to town to go and going to Facebook and all of that. In my jealousy and then my insecurity, I said to her that, oh, that kind of place, you go to that place and then you begin to, people will be proposing to you, people will be seeing you and all of that. You expose yourself to attacks and all of that. This was the limit to which I thought Facebook could offer. I didn't know that we could do Facebook social media marketing on Facebook. I didn't know we could make money out of Facebook. I didn't know that, we could propagate the gospel of Christ out of Facebook. So even the Christendom frowned at it at the time. We allowed it to be dominated by the people of the world, in quotes, or carnal people. So if you go to any search engine now and you type what is, you will not see something biblical come up to you first. What you will see would be about something of the world. How to prepare, or how to, let's say you just start by typing how to. It will interest you to know that the predictive text that will come would be how to masturbate, how to propose to a woman, how to defraud or how to rob a bank. These are some of the things that might show up. Thank God for AI. AI is now very intelligent, that it follows your trend of searching for things. So this time around, if I normally search for things regarding biblical things, anytime I go into my search engine and I start typing, it will bring me, suggestions as to the things I normally search. But before now, when you put in a search engine, you will see things that people have already searched for of the world. So same thing is happening. Now COVID came and realized that, okay, we could still propagate the gospel on Facebook. So the churches have now jumped onto Facebook, and we are all doing Facebook live service, Facebook that, YouTube live this, and all of that. So until we flood the political domain with people who really fear God, people who really regard and respect humanity, until we have them come into the political system, the few people who will enter, they'll be choked. Either they align with the wrong or they will impeach them, as has happened to the Kenyan vice president. So, Honorable Speaker, this is my take on it. We need to flood the system with the right people. You know, I don't know whether I'm sure you've chanced on that demonstration before. Somebody poured a solution, a black solution, into a glass. The way out to make it become a clear solution is to continue pouring what? Clean water. For as long as you are pouring the clean water, it might take time. The scripture says that though the vision may tarry, it will not lie. It will surely speak. So let's continue flooding the system with the right people. Not too long from now, we will realize that, hey, the people who are corrupt, people who are causing us pain and then havoc and then embezzling funds and all of that, they will fade out, and the right people will now be in the helm of affairs. And Ghanaians and people who are subject to these leaders will now have a sense of laughter and joy to say that we are enjoying our own country. Until that time, if we all refuse to flood the system, if we say, as a politics is a dirty game, politics is a dirty game, I don't want to involve myself in it, then the dirty game players will continue to play the game and will choke the very few who will go into it. That is my take on that, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much for your honest opinion. We remain guided to become ethical leaders for nation building. Honorable members, please, the floor is still open. If you have anything to share, this is the time to share it before we'll move with closing remarks and all those. So please, the floor is still open. Isaac, Venye, Divine, and Seriam Ahone. Just raise your hand if you want to contribute. Okay, if I don't see any, then I'll proceed with. I want to give some notifications before our guest speaker gives his closing remarks. So there are three things that I want to inform our guest speaker of. He suggested that we should reach the campuses. Yes, on the 21st of April 2021, Youth Impact Parliament launched its Campus Club initiative, and that Campus Club is to extend our reach to the second cycle institutions and possibly the basic schools. So we are reaching out to teachers that would aid us come around to their campuses, and we can use this initiative to expand our reach there. We'll come there and do seminar as well, and then we'll give them robes, and then they also practice their parliamentary process. And through that, they'll have a better understanding of what goes on in Parliament and the role of their legislators. So we call it the YIP Campus Club. So I will speak to you on that and see how we can also reach your institution on that. For this election coming, Youth Impact Movement is working on a series of flyers called the Voter Education Series. And that Voter Education Series are flyers to educate voters towards the election. And we'll be sharing it from the end of October till after the elections. And that is basically one of the initiatives that we feel that we need to do so to educate our people, because as you said, this issue that you spoke about, opposition going to strongholds of their other parties and teaching them how to vote wrongly. I also heard that in, and it's clearly unethical but they'll tell you it is politics. It is politics. So we want to really do this voter education series as well. And people can also use this series to educate people because it is a neutral-based education. It is not tagged to any political party, but it holds the identity of Youth Impact Movement and Youth Impact Parliament. So when we start sharing the flyers, you'll see them as well, sir. And on November 10th, we are hoping to hold, that will be our sitting before the election, and we want to hold a political debate. Usually our sittings are not politically aligned, but for this particular sitting, we are dedicating it as a political debate in the sense that we want to see how our young youth MPs really, should I say, how they project their political views on things to be done, because most of them are really in political parties. So we'll be having the upgrade caucus, which is basically the MPP caucus, a reset caucus, which is basically the NDC caucus, and then the against caucus, which are people who are not part of NDC or MPP, do not align with any of the parties, but they might be Movement for Change or New Force, or just basically people who are not interested in any. And basically both those people will be against. And it is a political debate in the sense that from there you'll be able to see the true colors. And from that, we can better coach our youth, because some of them in entering politics, they enter with a wrong mind as well. And from this debate, they can learn from their colleagues straightforward without having uncultured and unethical, approach, and you get it, these exchanges with them, because during parliamentary sittings you cannot have this kind of uncultured exchanges. So the political debate is not only to give them that opportunity to speak on policies that they believe in with the political parties they align with, but as well to equally teach them to be ethical in their debate, because after elections I go clear. And if before elections you go around spitting lies about people, it will come back to haunt you. So that is basically the purpose. So on November 10th, we'll be having that debate at Home Municipal Assembly. If you are able to, if you close church early, you could pass by and see how we are doing. So I just want to inform you on that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll now call on our guest speaker to give his closing remarks on today's virtual leadership seminar, which is the 22nd edition, held on 22nd October. Thank you very much.
All right, honorable speaker, thank you very much. On the 22nd edition of our virtual seminar, happening on the 22nd day with my 22 slides. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you, most especially the honorable speaker, for having me, and especially for the patience he's had for me. I think we started conversation on this, for me to be on this call more than a year now, and we're scheduling and we're giving the promises, but finally, I mean, no wonder in his own time he makes all things beautiful. And so here we are. I'm so honored and humbled to be part of your meeting, and to share with you what I have to present. I mean, Grooming Ethical Leaders for Nation Building to you. I want to believe that we've learned something, and we are motivated, and we are charged enough. We are really charged up enough to aspire to be ethical leaders. Now, listen, you want to tell yourself that if all other people would be unethical, I want to be ethical. Don't take a stance of accusing people, whereas, I mean, you are not doing any frantic effort to be ethical as well. No matter how somebody treats you unethically, I mean, two wrongs don't make a right. So be that advocate. So we are charged to also do what? To educate and to what? Advocate. So let's educate and advocate, I mean, for ethical leadership. Be that change maker. Permit me to borrow the slogan of His Excellency, the Vice President of Ghana, it is possible. I mean, that it's possible has been there all this while. It is not for only MPP or for NEC or whoever, but just let us know that, yes, in this, what looks like a world infiltrated with, I mean, inhumane activities, unethical things, immoral things, and all that, you want to stand out. You want to stand out and say that, let people say about you that you, as for you, you are ethical. As for you, you are moral. Let that be the conversation that people can have about you. And in the long run, if you don't even reap the fruit, this life, generations yet unborn will benefit from it. That which we saw or we heard about Kwame Nkrumah doing has been a blessing to us. Whilst others have varied, opinions about Kwame Nkrumah and all of that, about J.J. Rawlings and all of that, but at least some of their works are still speaking. Mahatma Gandhi, the works are speaking. Nelson Mandela, the works are speaking. So just play your part. Let heaven recognize what you are doing and reward you for it. Even if men will not appreciate you, posterity is always the great judge. So once again, thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'm super humbled and honored for being part of this great session. God bless you all. And God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And also for your attention. During the lecture, a lot of people joined, but they fell along due to the network. But I just want to, for the records, notify you that some of your students also joined. Notable from my class was Thomas Hammond, Breku Goria, and currently Seriam Ahone is here.
Yeah, I saw Seriam join. Seriam, I salute boss.
I take answer.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So we keep on learning. I'll proceed with my closing remarks. Honourable members, on behalf of leadership and myself, I want to convey my sincerest gratitude to our guest speaker, notably our 22nd guest speaker. As he has stated, we have planned this for over a year, but at God's own time, this has happened. And amazingly, his lecture was exactly in 2 hours. So that's another 2. That's another 2 to read. Yes, I want to thank him for this dedication. His slides were very detailed, well thought through, and it serves as basis for us to learn from and become better leaders of ourselves. I want to thank him again for this good that he has dedicated to do to us. And I'll assure him that more people will watch the recording and learn even more than we have imagined. And for the attention of members and our participants, I want to, on this note, invite you to follow our guest speaker on Facebook. His Facebook name is it Pedidela? Yes. Oh, sir, is that not it? Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Pedidela, yes, that's it.
Yes, please. So follow him on Facebook with the name Pedidela and learn more from him. He sometimes occasionally goes on stream as well and learn more from the wisdom he has garnered over the years, and also aspire to become one of his mentees. For me, I haven't subscribed officially yet, but I'm still in the book. I want to call on you all as well to follow Youth Impact Parliament on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and as well, we have a WhatsApp channel. I want you all to go and follow us over there. Youth Impact Parliament is a youth initiative, a youth movement that is dedicated to grooming leadership or grooming youths in leadership roles, public speaking, parliamentary business, social norms, and values. YIP is 3 years old since April. And as I stated, we'll be having our 4th parliamentary sitting on 10th November 2024. And youth MPs in town, I indulge you to come and participate in the political debate. And just as I earlier informed you, we'll be sharing our voter education series flyers. And I want to call on you to share them if you see them as well. You may think people know how to vote, but they honestly don't know. Even if the person might be old, he might not really know that you have to just vote for one person. And if you allow the dirty gamers to continue with what they are doing, we will have sports ballot being the third person in line with the highest votes of candidates. So please, let's do well to educate our people when the voter series, when we start publishing the voter series. There's as well Youth Impact Movement as our mother body. It has two branches, which is Youth Impact Parliament. The Youth Impact Parliament is the parliamentary branch, and Youth Impact Movement, the humanitarian branch as well. For those of you who wish to support us and support this vision, you can kindly reach us. My contact is 0201476696. I want to now proceed with the vote of thanks. Honourable members, at this juncture, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Almighty God for making this program a success, a huge success. Among the virtual seminar series that we have had, this is one of the best and detailed, among all of them. So we have recorded all the other 21 versions, and if you go on YouTube, you see them as well. If you go on Facebook, you see the playlist, and you can even go and check all the other ones as well. And to our 23rd edition, hopefully when we get a guest speaker, we'll hold that one and we'll communicate to you duly. My last thanks goes to our participants. Isaac Etonamaje has been with us since the first minute, and he's still here. I like the love you are giving to Youth Impact Parliament. We hope to see you physically as well. So thank you very much. And Divine as well, since the time he joined, he has also been. A lot of people joined from the start, but due to the network, they lost. And to all our viewers who will watch later on, I want to thank you very much for making time to join this program to be impacted by our guest speaker, Prophet Ernest Peter, who is a youth activist and a preacher man. And I want to call on you as well to continue your capacity building journey, because we keep on learning every day. If we are now leading this country in the future, I'm sure Prophet Ernest Peter will be happy to see us, of which he has grown, leading the forefront. And he will have the belief that we'll do the right thing and will be ethical in our dealings for nation growth. Thank you all, and God bless you abundantly. We will now have our closing prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for this virtual leadership program. Give us wisdom and understanding for all who have participated in this seminar, that they may proceed to implement what they have heard and learn, of which will result in their personal development. We commit unto your hands our 22nd guest speaker, Prophet Ernest Peter. We call for him to grow in wisdom, knowledge, and wealth to keep on impacting others. And our subsequent guest speakers and seminars as well, we commit them into your hands. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, I wish you the best of evening. Thank you so much for joining today's program. Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the 21st Virtual Leadership Seminar held under the auspices of Youth Impact Movement. Let's start with prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee.
Believe that beyond us just being a parliament that just sits and then loosely describe the digital tools countries use to carry out dialogue and achieve their aims, like development. Now, just allow me to set some of these foundations that we get into the conversation better. So there is no universally agreed international definition for a youth group. But this evening, I want us to adopt the United Nations Habitat's Youth Fund definition, which put a youth between the age of 15 to 32 years. I mean, there are many people who have other perspective about youth. Some of them talk about the strength and ability, the mental capabilities and all that. But then let's limit the conversation to the year so that we can put the conversation in perspective. And so once you are discussing this issue concerning the youth, we are looking at youth engagement, we are looking at diplomacy, we are looking at the tech advantage in providing the 21st century youth an advantage over what the other youth that has come before these people have. So basically, we are looking at youth engagement, we are looking at diplomacy, and then the tech advantage that this current youth have over the ones that has been before them. So diplomacy, the truth of the issue is that there are many, many definitions of diplomacy as we can find in the dictionary. I know that when we mention diplomacy, most people are thinking about being a high commissioner, going on foreign missions and all that. Yes, that is also in place. But the current world is looking at diplomacy more of negotiation, more of using the tools and whatever ability that you have at your beck and call to be able to put forward policy suggestions, put the youth demands that are able to shape government decisions, and then international policies and as well as socioeconomic development. So that is where the conversation is shifting to. I mean, diplomacy in the sense that it doesn't need to be, you don't need to be in a particular country before you can influence policy decisions over there, or to say that you don't need to be in power. So we don't need to be in power as young people before we can influence policy decision. And when we are going down the line, we will look at how some of these things has been achieved across the world. So that is where diplomacy is becoming a broader conversation where it's not just about, okay, I've traveled to the US, I've traveled out and all that. No, we are looking at how can we be able to use what we have to be able to influence policy decision, to be able to drive the demands of the youth, to be able to foster economic, social, and then economic development. So the World Youth Reports as of 2023 illustrate that there are a lot of youth movement that are going on. And from a youth movement that is driving climate action across the Arab region to an organization expanding digital literacy among young people in rural Philippines, and to Global Youth Network, which are educating people on sexual and reproductive rights, young people are everywhere. And they are indeed stepping in where the previous generation has failed. So the World Youth Report is recognizing the fact that day in, day out, young people are stepping up to the game and they are standing up to the issues that bother them. And they want answers. They want to strive in whatever field that they find themselves. And of course, when you look at the COP conference 2024, the most popular statement that characterized that conference was done by a Swedish 16-year-old girl, Greta, that she's known for. And it wasn't made by a head of state. It wasn't made by the UN Secretary General. It was made by a young person. That look, the climate change that we are experiencing is here to come, and they want proactive answers. And that was when you follow the COP conference 2024, you realize that was the domineering theme in the entire conference, and it was done by a young person. So yes, the young person are more resilient. They are more determined to be able to change the world in which they have come and then change it for better for those who will come after them. Now, there are a lot of diplomatic institutions and the diplomatic venues. Most of the prominent among them is the Best Diplomats United Kingdom. This is an annual convergence of young people all over the world who sit to contemplate on social and economic issues from various sub-regions. They put best foots of ideas together, get where they can be able to collaborate on ideas and on plans and as far as implementation is concerned. There's also Diplomatic Academy of Vienna, which is in Austria, which I must say I'm a proud member of. There is the Voice for Right International Canada, which I'm also a delegate of as well. Then there is Global Citizens, and then there is the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. I mean, the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders try its best to bring together about 700 young Africans from all over Africa every year for a 6-week intensive program that stretches beyond social development, economic development, entrepreneurship, academics, and all that in various US universities. And I mean, I think it's one of the things that we all want to look out for as young people. So now let's discuss a little bit on technology. So of course, there are many explorations and an effort that has been made to enable young people's connectivity and access to educational resources. The International Telecommunication Unit has launched the Resolution 198 at a conference in Dubai in 2018 on the topic Empowerment of the Youth Through Telecommunication/Information and Communication Strategy. And again, the ITU has also launched the GIGA, which is to join force with other such similar platforms, which was launched in 2019. All those things is to help with internal connectivity. And most of these things, currently, there are many, many things that we know of, like tech diplomacy, which is strictly efforts being driven by countries. I think now there are about 70 tech diplomats all over the world who are actively working with the Silicon Valley in Ireland. And then what they do over there, of course, that is the tech hub of the world. So they are looking at how they can understudy some of these things